The following is a special encore presentation of Westwood One Sports. Nothing matches the excitement of March Madness.
There's Leitner. He turns, he shoots. It is good! Christian Leitner hits a turnaround 17-footer at the buzzer. My, oh my, oh my.
The inbounds pass thrown to half court. Jenkins catches, gets to Drew. Right wing three-pointer. Good! Valparaiso has knocked off Ole Miss.
Jenkins, three for the win. It's good! Jenkins hits the three to win the national championship. Villanova wins it. The Lehigh Mountain Hawks have knocked off the tower of strength that is Duke. For the second time today, a 15 seed knocks off a number 2.
We've said it before and we'll say it again. The Gators are national champions for the second consecutive season.
Bailey, left baseline, shoots. No good. Princeton wins. They've upset the defending national champion UCLA Bruins.
Doherty in the double team, gives it back to Black with 20 seconds left to play. Goes back to Michael Jordan, jumper from out on the left, good! 63-62.
UCLA's John Wooden goes out a winner. The 10th NCAA title for UCLA.
Back to Hunter for three. Good! 2.6 to play. Georgia State takes a 1-point lead. The shot knocked Ron Hunter right off his chair.
8 seconds to go. On the Smart, baseline jump shot in the air. Good! Steve Smart hits the baseline jumper in Indiana. Come through, and they're going to do it.
The ultimate upset has happened. A 16 has beaten a 1. UMBC knocks off Virginia. The madness has hit its peak.
Westwood One and the NCAA Radio Network present great games in tournament history. Now here's your host, Ryan Radke.
We welcome you to this exclusive encore presentation of a March Madness Classic. Today we bring you action of the 2008 National Championship game between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Memphis Tigers. Today's rebroadcast on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network is sponsored by Lowe's, by Progressive Insurance, by NerdWallet.com, by Marcus by Goldman Sachs, by Pennington Seed, and by NCAA.com. Hi, everybody. I'm Ryan Radke in our Westwood One NCAA Broadcast Center as we get set for today's edition of Great Games in NCAA Tournament History. With all of these sporting events currently on hiatus due to the coronavirus outbreak, we, just like you fans out there, are searching for outlets to replace the thrill of competition and victory. For the past 40 years, the NCAA Radio Network has brought March Madness to millions of listeners, and the memories of the buzzer beaters, upsets, players, and coaches are indelible. We all remember where we were when Princeton knocked off defending champ UCLA in 1996, or Paul Jesperson hit that half-court heave for Northern Iowa in 2016. Unfortunately, this season, there will be no bracket busters, no cutting down of the nets. So while we all try to stay safe during the evolving COVID-19 public health threat, Westwood One will present a different game from our March Madness archives throughout the month to hopefully make you smile a little bit and give you some good memories from past tournaments. Now, you're going to hear the play-by-play of these games as they aired originally, but edited down a little bit to minimize stoppages. Plus, we've got interviews and additional perspective from some players and coaches that were involved in the contest. We hope you enjoy this series of great games in tournament history on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, presented by Lowe's. From plants to fertilizer, mowers, and more, Lowe's is ready to help you win the season. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, official corporate partner of the NCAA. The 2008 National Championship game between the 36-3 Kansas Jayhawks and the 38-1 Memphis Tigers was undoubtedly a classic game in NCAA tournament history. It was highlighted by Kansas' remarkable rally from 9 points down late in the game, which was culminated by Mario Chalmers' three-pointer in the waning seconds that forced overtime. Spearheaded by Super Mario's iconic shot, KU would go on to defeat Memphis in the extra session and capture their third national championship. To reach the Final Four in San Antonio, Kansas was the top seed in the Midwest Regional. They easily coasted through a pair of victories against Portland State and UNLV before a comfortable win against Villanova in the Sweet 16. Then came a hard-fought 2-point win against the darlings of the 2008 tournament, Davidson, who, as you heard in Game 1 of our doubleheader, were led by a sophomore guard named Stephen Curry, who took the world by storm in marching them all the way to the Elite Eight. Once at the Final Four, the Jayhawks defeated another traditional blue blood program in North Carolina. They were coached by Roy Williams, who led the Kansas program from 1988 to 2003. Bill Self took over in Lawrence for Williams, and early in his tenure, there were some struggles. A pair of first-round losses in 2 of the previous 3 seasons had him on the hot seat heading into the 2008 tournament, a fact that wasn't lost on his star guard Mario Chalmers prior to the championship game.
I feel a lot for Coach Self. I mean, those first 2 losses that he had versus Bucknell and Bradley, I mean, he got a lot of criticism, a lot of doubters, a lot of haters. But Coach Self just persevered through that, and he knew that his time would come, and his time's right here. And he's just relaxing. He just wants us to go out there and play our ball.
The Memphis Tigers headed into the championship game with 38 wins, which was the most ever in a single season by a team in college basketball. They soared to their first #1 ranking since 1982. Their only defeat came at the hands of in-state rival Tennessee. John Calipari's squad was led by arguably the best backcourt in the nation, with first-team All-American Chris Douglas Roberts and future NBA #1 overall pick Derrick Rose. The Tigers made their way to San Antonio by way of the South region. Besides a tight 3-point win against Mississippi State in the second round, they went largely unchallenged, winning their other 4 contests against Texas Arlington, Michigan State, Texas, and UCLA by double figures. Before his team took the floor against Kansas in the final, Calipari told us the key to the matchup was which team would be able to relax and not get overwhelmed by the enormity of the moment.
If I've done my job, you look out on the court, Memphis is having fun. Look at this. Then I've done my job. And I've told them from the beginning of this tournament, whoever's team is having the most fun, that's the team that's going to win. And let's be that team.
It was one of the most exciting national championship games in recent history. And when we return, we'll join Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, John Thompson, and sideline reporter Jim Gray for all the action of the 2008 final between Kansas and Memphis. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is a special encore presentation of March Madness.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
Warm fleece on a cold day. I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Ryan Radke back in our Westwood One studios, continuing with our encore presentation of the 2008 National Championship between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Memphis Tigers. We're just about set for tip-off, so let's head to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio and join Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, and John Thompson for the keys to the game and the starting lineups.
It's time for the keys to the game. John Thompson, your keys for tonight.
Well, I think keys are going to have a lot to do with defense. The offensive pace is very significant because both of these teams are fast, but how well they will be able to run will have a lot to do with how well they'll be able to defend.
And, of course, both clubs are so similar in many ways, but Bill Self, his guys, a defensive scheme to take Rose out of the game. They've got to do something, maybe double him. Big's got to dominate in that high-low and value the ball, and I think they got to rebound and run. Because you go to the hole like Memphis does, you don't balance the floor. And then Memphis, John, how about attack, 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 attack? That's something they do very well. And I think they've got to go at Kansas early, set a mentality and a toughness out there, and then get some points off turnovers.
Well, and I think the one thing that we do know is that Memphis definitely will attack. The question mark is how will Kansas play? Kansas play is going to be predicated a lot on what you just said, Billy, whether they can make stops and stop the penetration and get out and run at the pace that they started to run at when they played against the University of North Carolina.
It's time to check the starting lineup for the Memphis Tigers at 38-1. Robert Dozier, the 6'9 junior out of Lithonia, Georgia. Dozier averaging 9 points and 7 rebounds a game. Also joining him in the front court, it's Joey Dorsey, the 6'9 senior out of Baltimore. No points, but 15 rebounds in the semifinal win against UCLA. The backcourt for Memphis looks like this. Derrick Rose at the point, the terrific freshman who is one of the favorites for the MVP of the Final Four. The freshman starts at the point. He'll be joined in the backcourt by Chris Douglas Roberts, perhaps his main competition on the Memphis squad for that most outstanding player honor. 18 points per game, leads this team all season long. And Antonio Anderson, terrific defender, the 6'6 junior out of Lynn, Massachusetts. For Kansas at 36-3, Russell Robinson at the point. Big challenge tonight. He's got to defend Derrick Rose, the 6'1 senior from New York, is considered their lockdown perimeter defender, a member of the Big 12 all-defensive team this year. Also in the backcourt, Mario Chalmers, the junior out of Anchorage, Alaska, averaging over 14 points in the tournament. The 6'1 junior will be matched up in the backcourt with Antonio Anderson because Brandon Rush gets the job with Chris Douglas Roberts. Brandon Rush, the 6'6 junior out of Kansas City, Missouri, averaging 17 points a game in the tournament and relishing the chance to take on Chris Douglas Roberts. The front court, Darrell Arthur, 6'9 sophomore out of Dallas, first team all Big 12. 9 points, 6 rebounds a game in the tournament after averaging 13 points in the regular season. And Darnell Jackson, the 6'8 senior, one of the most improved players in the Big 12 Conference, 11 points, 7 rebounds a game for the 6'8 senior out of Oklahoma City. 2 brand new coaches in their first ever national championship game. Bill Self in his 5th season as head coach of Kansas. John Calipari in his 8th season, the first trip to the title game for each of these 2 coaches before a crowd that we were trying to decide before the game, was it more partial to Kansas, more partial to Memphis? Did we ever come up with a conclusion?
You know, I thought early on it was Kansas, but now there's a mixed bag here. I think it's equal. What do you think?
Well, it's hard to tell, but I know that Kansas has one additional fan in Roy Williams. I noticed that Roy Williams has on the Kansas colors and is sitting with the Kansas crowd right now, and I find that extremely interesting. I've never seen you get defeated by a team and then you go and sit and root for that team. So that shows that they're getting advice from Roy and Larry.
I'm so surprised that the Kansas fans allowed Roy Williams back into the crowd. It was not a happy breakup 5 years ago.
Well, they lost, so I mean, he's welcome. But, you know, I think they've got to play with some poise and toughness, Kansas, because this Memphis team has an edge about them. They are mentally tough, and they'll go after you.
If we can get back to the psychology of the game and the crowd, I did also notice that on the Memphis side, we had 7 Elvises on the Memphis side. So when a couple of more Elvises come, Billy, I think that will represent good luck.
Does 7 Elvises equal 1 Roy Williams? Does that balance it out?
I don't know. Billy and I really wish that these things had the impact on the game they practice, or we probably would have practiced a hell of a lot less, wouldn't we, Billy?
And Memphis is hoping it's not a heartbreak hotel, I'm sure.
Kansas comes out in their road blue uniforms with the red trim, the white numerals on the front and back of those Kansas Blues. Memphis in the home whites with the blue trim and the blue numerals on the front and back. And we are seconds away from the start of the 2008 National Championship game here in San Antonio. Both coaches have offered their final instructions. The teams are making their way out onto the court. Darrell Arthur will jump it up. Nope, he'll back out now, and Darnell Jackson. And Darrell Arthur, it is Arthur and Dozier ready to jump it up. And the national championship game is underway. The tip controlled by Memphis.
Kevin Kugler, John Thompson, Kansas goes. Man.
And Rose will start it from left to right for Memphis. Rose at the top, feeds Dorsey in the post on the right side. Dorsey turns to his left. The jumper banks home, and Dorsey already has more than he had in the first game here in the Alamo Dome with his first 2 points.
Big start, gets the big involved.
Here's Chalmers on the right wing for Kansas. Right to left go the Jayhawks in this first half as we see it, as Robinson fires up top to Arthur, and now to Rush on the perimeter. Chalmers in the right corner for Kansas. Chalmers bounces down low to Arthur. Arthur turns the jumper up a little bit short, and Antonio Anderson the board for Memphis, and the Tigers on the run. Anderson starts it off and gives to Rose. Rose will drive the right side against Robinson. His pass tipped out of bounds, and it's Memphis ball.
And that's a sigh of relief when you can at least get him to almost turn it over or take a tough shot. Rose so good.
And one of the things you want to watch is how easily he'll penetrate. The Kansas guard is athletic too. He got up and blocked that pass.
Rose gets the inbound on the left side, fires up top to Anderson. Anderson dribbles left wing, and it's taken away by Chalmers. Chalmers with a steal. Bounce pass ahead to Rush, and Rush misses the jam, but he's fouled as he crashes into the standard. He's all right, and he'll go to the line for 2 free throws. Anderson commits his first personal.
And John, one thing about these Kansas guards, they can steal the ball. They get about 2 a game. They're always in position. They understand how to strip, how to set you up, and they steal off the ball as well.
Well, and that's one of the things you like to ask coaches. What's the objective of your defense? Is it just to contain and make their shots difficult? Kansas tries to get possession of the ball, and they've got very quick hands.
Rush misses the first free throw. All that's been made about Memphis's free throw shooting as Rush hits the second. In the tournament, Memphis shooting 70% at the line. Kansas 66% at the line. As Rose brings it up for Memphis, nearly lost it again as Robinson almost tipped it away. Here's Anderson on the wing for 3. Rims out no good. Arthur the rebound for the Jayhawks, and Robinson looks to push. 2-1 Memphis with the lead. Chalmers drives the baseline, throws it back out. It bounces off the foot of the official into the arms of Chris Douglas Roberts. He'll drive it all the way to the basket, somehow get control, and he lays it in. 3 defenders he weaved through.
Unbelievable control of the ball behind the back. A dangerous play, able to finish.
4-1 Memphis. A minute and a half in, and a turnover. Robinson trying to lead Chalmers to the wing, throws it out of bounds. Second Kansas turnover already.
Well, and sometimes that's good that it went out of bounds as opposed to being stolen. Because
your defense is set, right?
Set your defense up.
Rose will jog it up for Memphis. 4-1 Tigers with the lead. Chris Douglas Roberts, jumper over Rush. It's a little strong, no good. Rebound tipped out to Rose. Rose has it knocked out of his hands. Ball loose on the floor, and Robinson hurdles Dorsey and grabs the loose ball for Kansas.
Robinson's got exceptionally quick hands, Billy. Anytime you go near him, you better protect the ball.
Tough.
Inside, the drive, and the jam by Darrell Arthur coming from the right side. Crushes it home, and it's 4-3.
And John Calipari's worried about the high-low. Great entry pass. The strong send it in at the end.
Memphis by 1. First field goal for the Jayhawks. Here's Douglas Roberts on the right wing to Anderson. Chris Douglas Roberts finds Rose now on the left wing with 20 to shoot. Rose will drive left baseline, throws it back out to Dozier, open at the free throw line, and he hits the jumper to give Memphis the 6-3 lead.
And that was smart. Exactly. Good penetration, didn't force the play.
Chalmers penetrates, dishes back out. Long jumper for Jackson, a little bit too strong, and it hits off the back iron. Rose grabs the rebound and is fouled by Mario Chalmers, not only reaching in, but reaching around and grabbing his waist.
Yeah, giveaway. He didn't want him to run down the floor. Rose pretty good, and he finds people. Great players make bailout passes.
And I like the fact that he's not pressuring the issue right now. Right now, he's penetrating, dishing out, not looking to score himself, but he's explosive.
Memphis will set up in the half court. 6-3, the Tigers with the lead. 17-12 remaining in this first half. Anderson dribbles on the left wing, gives back to Rose, matched up with Robinson. Great matchup all night. Rose will pull up and fire the three over Robinson. It's no good. Chalmers the rebound for Kansas. And Chalmers looking up court immediately, seeing if there's a break opportunity. There is not, and they'll back it out to Rush. Rush bobbles the ball loose on the floor. Chris Douglas-Roberts dives for it. Rush gets it back, trickles toward our sideline, and out of bounds. It'll belong to Memphis. Last touched by Darnell Jackson as he dove into the pile to try to get possession.
Tells you how important it is. Everybody down and dirty, John.
Right, call it won't come. They dove on the floor and got the ball. And that's what you do in this kind of competition. Nothing I hate any worse to see guys bending over like old men trying to pick up the ball as opposed to diving on the floor the way these guys were doing.
Why are you looking at me when you said older men?
I tried to look fresher, but my eyes kept coming that way.
Rose will walk it up. I'm not looking either of your directions. Douglas-Roberts at the top to Dozier. 6-3 Memphis.
You're not even shaving yet.
Rose with a jumper. It's good, and he's fouled. How strong is Rose? Muscles that ball up with contact. It's on Russell Robinson.
But you know what's interesting? Both times Rose tried to penetrate, which he had his way doing in the last game. The other time he pulled up and shot a jumper. This time he drove and pulled up. And that's what Billy was talking about. He's smart. He takes what he's given.
2 points, 2 rebounds already for Rose as he goes to the line for a chance at a three-point play. Converts on the free throw, and Memphis early 9-3.
And that sets up their pressure.
And that pressure's been effective so far, both in the backcourt and in the front court for Memphis. They've forced 3 turnovers on 7 possessions. Robinson to Sharon Collins just into the game with big man Sasha Khan. Rush over to the right wing, and Robinson. 18 on the shot clock. The feed down the baseline to Arthur, and Arthur is fouled as he drives to the basket, pushed toward the side. And that'll be on Dorsey or Dozier. Both were down there, and the foul's going to go on Joey Dorsey.
Hey, you can't give this club extra possessions with turnovers, John. I mean, they're just too explosive. They get in the open floor. You alluded to it's good it went out of bounds. The defense is set. That's better than giving them an open floor.
Because that's what they want. You're absolutely correct. Once they get those steals, they're off to the races.
Inbound to Rush in the corner as Sean Taggart comes off the Memphis bench and replaces Robert Dozier for the moment. Collins on the left wing to the free throw line. He'll back out. Ball knocked free by Antonio Anderson. Another dive on the floor. Collins has it, and a tie-up is called as Rose got in and tied him up, and the possession arrow will keep it with the Kansas Jayhawks. And let me correct myself, that foul was on Dozier, not Dorsey a moment ago.
And Anderson is some defender. Now he's on Collins. I mean, this kid can play big or little.
And that's what I was watching, Bill. It's funny you said that. I said that's a terrible matchup because Collins is so quick. Right. But I was wrong. Anderson's got great foot speed.
Collins inbound to Rush, and Rush's 3 attempt is blocked by Dorsey. Ball tipped into the hands of Arthur in the middle of the lane, drives it to the basket. No, tip try up and in for Kansas by Brandon Rush. And it's a 9-5 Memphis ball game.
Rush has got to play big in this game because he's got a lot of guys his size on that team of Memphis, and he's got to show up.
Memphis will set up with Rose on the left wing. Rose driving into the paint, kicks it back out to Taggart, left alone in the corner for 3. He can hit that shot, but not this time, and it goes out of bounds off of Joey Dorsey, and it'll belong to the Kansas Jayhawks, and we've reached our first timeout with 15:36 remaining in this first half, and Memphis has a 4-point lead at 9-5.
Ryan Radke back in the Progressive Insurance Studios as we continue with Westwood One's rebroadcast of great games in tournament history. Progressive's Home Quote Explorer gives you multiple quote options so you can pick what's right for you. See for yourself at Progressive.com. Today we're presenting the 2008 National Championship game between Kansas and Memphis. Memphis led by 4 as we head to the first media timeout. The Tigers' defense is clearly hampering the Jayhawks' offense in the early going of this one. We'll continue with more action from San Antonio when we return from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is a special encore presentation of March Madness.
Women now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role forever.
Harvard Medical School has now opened its doors to new female applicants.
The first woman is now in space.
The majority of last year's doctorate degrees were earned by women.
We've come so far,
But our news is changing for the worse. More women die from heart disease and stroke than men, even though it can be prevented. Make a change at GoRedForWomen.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
It's 9-5 Memphis with the 4-point lead over Kansas. 15:36 to go. What do you think of the first 4:24?
When we played Georgetown, which we did unfortunately for 11 years.
How'd you do?
Well, if you left anything there, John would either take my jacket or his players would take the tie. There was a toughness about your team, and I see that right now in this Memphis team. Anything loose, they either get on the floor, wrestle it free. They're so competitive. You got to match that.
Well, and they definitely want to play that way because they want to get out and run. The thing that I'm going to find interesting in the half court is that if Kansas stops them from penetrating, can they make consistently the outside jump shots?
Sharon Collins will bring it up for Kansas as the Jayhawks move it right to left, down 4, 9-5. Here's Collins on the left wing, guarded by Rose. Rose, the alley-oop to Sasha Khan, and he came from the right and crushed it. It's 9-7.
So well executed. A little cross screen, then a back screen, set it up. Terrific looking. Khan has played terrific during the NCAA.
Never seen a team get so many alley-oops as Kansas does.
Amazing. They set you up.
Here's Dorsey spinning inside against Khan, and Khan playing great position, bats it out of bounds. Sasha Khan, as you mentioned, Raft, he has just been terrific in the tournament. Had his best game against Davidson, 13.6 rebounds.
He's experienced playing the best at the end of his career.
Rose with 17 on the shot clock, gets it between the circles. Derrick Rose will send Anderson through the lane on the right side, and he'll post against Sharon Collins. The turnaround jumper for Rose, a little bit strong, and rush the rebound.
I'll give him that one. Have him do that all day.
Exactly, and he didn't just straight line drive. He backed in, or as the kids would call it, slow walked him and jumped over him.
Arthur posting on the left block, turns, and the jumper over Taggart is good for Darrell Arthur, and Kansas ties it at 9 with 14:30 to play first half.
It's quite obvious to see that Kansas really is probing to get inside to test whether they can defend inside. Memphis are probably trying to get Dozier in foul trouble too. Dorsey, I'm sorry.
Rose feeds Dorsey on the left block. He loses the ball, knocked out of his hands by Sharon Collins, and right into the arms of Mario Chalmers, who will bring it up.
Boy, it is amazing how Kansas goes for the ball if you put it on the floor.
Rush feeds Arthur, posting left block against Taggart. He'll back it out to Rush again. Around the Taggart screen. Arthur, jumper left side, no good. Chris Douglas-Roberts with the rebound, and Memphis will move it up the floor, tied at 9 apiece. Chris Douglas-Roberts with that high dribble, puts it on the floor against Rush, driving from the left side, and he's fouled.
Ooh, pretty good defensive play, I thought. Little nickel dimer there underneath. They are playing good position defense, keeping the dribbler in abeyance.
Chris Douglas-Roberts has a one-track mind. Give it to me and let me score. Penetrating and pitching just ain't in his vocabulary.
It's usually a track that leads to points, though, for Memphis.
And he's good at it. He's so elusive. At the end, he creates another kind of shot.
And the big thing now, John, is as he takes his first free throw, if they're forced to run some offense, and that's very important. If you take away the dribble drive, makes the first one, now you're going to have to rely on some sets, and they're not accustomed to that. That could be a major issue.
And they've got to be able to, you're so right, and they've got to be able to hit the outside shot. That's why I'm curious. I haven't seen Rose just blow by somebody, go all the way to the cup. He slow walked, shot the jumper, he pulled up. He still hasn't been able to get by Collins and them the way he was the other day.
Douglas-Roberts hits both free throws. Memphis leads 11-9. Willie Kemp, the 6'2 sophomore guard, off John Calipari's bench. Also, Robert Dozier returns to the lineup and gives Joey Dorsey a breather. Collins will bring it up with Kansas down 2, 11-9. Kahn comes out to set a screen as Chalmers rolls around it to the left side to Collins. Collins drives past Rose on the baseline, and he lays it in. Derrick Rose hasn't had that happen much.
Not at all. What a blow by the little guy. The football mentality attacking the tin.
11 apiece for Memphis and Kansas.
Collins was so effective during the last game. I mean, this
He's
guy may sub.
Douglas-Roberts throws up the one-handed shot, and he hits it. It's 13-11 Memphis. Chalmers pushing quickly for Kansas, and he'll stop on the right wing, guarded by Willie Kemp. Up top to Jackson, and now to Rush on the left side. Rush to Chalmers. 3, right wing. No good. Rebound tipped up in the air, and Dozier has it for Memphis. Rose on the run to Douglas-Roberts. He'll penetrate from the left side again, just throws up a shot. It's no good, and a foul underneath. Going against Taggart for Memphis. Nope, it'll go against, rather, Kansas. Oh, it is Taggart. It is Taggart going the other way.
Boy, they are mixing it up around the rim, huh? Bring the helmet and the shoulder pad when you're smiling.
They're showing affection.
I don't want these kids to get hurt.
There's a lot of affection being shown. A lot of touching.
Sharon Collins will walk it up for Kansas. 13-11 Memphis. 12:38 left first half. Here's Kahn, gives it back to Collins. He wants to drive right side, nothing there. Robinson on the left wing. Collins with Rose on him. Kahn sets another high screen. Collins rolls around it, tries the alley-oop, but it's broken up nicely by Dozier. It'll go out of bounds. Ed Hightower says it was touched by Dozier.
They may change it. They're going to talk about it, and I think they got it wrong. No, they stay. Ed Hightower convinced.
Kansas is far more comfortable, Billy, running their half-court sets.
Yes, they are. Very much so. Their early offense into anything intricate.
8 to shoot as Chalmers gets the inbound on a whistle. A foul away from the ball. And it looks like Taggart got tied up with Kahn, and that's number 2 on Taggart.
And John had mentioned that getting the big guys in a foul situation. Taggart, a valuable sub. Dorsey's coming in for him now. That threesome, if you could get any of them out of the game, it's certainly an advantage.
Because Memphis isn't as deep inside. If you force Memphis to go to the bench or lose players, Kansas has a lot of length and a lot of depth.
Inbound to Robinson on the right wing. 13-11, Memphis leading with 12:10 left first half. Here's Chalmers. Kahn comes out to set the screen.
Duck.
Feeds it down low to Jackson. Jackson, an up and under move, and he drives it to the basket. He's fouled, and he's going to go to the line. And that foul going on Dozier, and that'll be number 2 on Dozier.
And we talked earlier about the ability to use the big guys. You've got to do your homework early defensively. They just step in and beg for the ball.
And you can see what the strategy is right now. Without a doubt, you can see that they're trying. Kansas is definitely trying to challenge the inside play of Memphis to see if they're capable of defending them inside.
Jackson hits the first, a 69% foul shooter. His second, if good, will tie the game at 13.
But even though Kansas right now is trailing, you get the feeling that they're in control. Now the game is tied. Right. Still, the psyche of the game looks like Kansas is in control.
They took the hit early and they bounced back.
Derrick Rose Over to the left side to Dozier. He'll put it on the floor and drive against Jackson. In the lane, the turnaround is no good. Dozier tips the rebound around, but Darnell Jackson pulls it down for Kansas. Here come the Jayhawks on the run. Chalmers stopping on the left wing. Back to Jackson at the top, and now to Collins, who will feed Kahn in the right block. Double teamed by Dozier and Dorsey. He'll get rid of it. Collins now penetrates past the free throw line. Dumps it off underneath to Sasha Kahn. Kahn lays it up, and he walked first. The travel, turnover, back to Memphis. Kahn had it in great position, but he took the extra step. 11:33 remaining in the first half. There's a break in the action with a score. Memphis and Kansas knotted up at 13 in the national championship. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
When you go to the mechanic in here...
Pass me the torque. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
That sounds wrong. You know what else sounds wrong? When you hear about the interest you're earning on your savings with the largest banks. But with a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, you could earn much more interest. And hear this. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at Marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
There's an app to save on flights, an app to rent a bike, and an app to help you save for driving safely. The Allstate app gives you real-time driving feedback with DriveWise, giving you the power to lower your insurance cost. In fact, safe drivers can save 40% or more. Connect and save with DriveWise. You're in good hands.
Download the Allstate app today. Savings may vary by state and driving behaviors. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Use of Allstate Mobile with activation of DriveWise required. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Pros like you rely on trusted brands every day, like Bosch. And when it comes to finding those brands, you can count on Lowe's to have what you need, when you need it. Stop in today and pick up a Bosch 18-volt cordless reciprocating saw, and you'll get a Bosch Core 18-volt battery kit for free. Save time by ordering at LowesForPros.com, and you can pick up your order at the Pro Desk. Whatever you need for the job today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 8/15 U.S. only.
Nerds! NerdWallet presents Money Questions, the lightning round. Here we go, Carol. How can people compare the best credit cards?
Turn to the nerds.
Should you pay off debt or save for retirement?
Turn to the nerds.
One more. Should I listen to my father-in-law's advice on mortgage lenders?
Turn to the nerds.
You win!
Woo!
Confetti is literally falling from the sky.
I'm going to put my winnings in a 2-year CD.
That would be prudent, Carol.
From helpful tools to expert guidance. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds at nerdwallet.com. NMLS ID number 1617539.
Right here, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for great games in tournament history.
Memphis and Kansas tied up at 13 with 11:33 remaining in the first half. Alongside Bill Raftery and John Thompson, I'm Kevin Kugler, the fourth member of our broadcast crew, standing by as well. And here's Jim Gray.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. I don't think I have ever seen this in all my years of sportscasting. The man who lost his last game is now here in the stands wearing a shirt for the opponent who just beat him. It's a very unique man and a very unique circumstance. It's Roy Williams, the head coach of North Carolina, coached at Kansas for a long time. He's got a Jayhawk shirt on tonight. What made you, Roy, decide to come today after the disappointment on Saturday?
Well, it is hard because of the disappointment, but my son and daughter were going to be here until Tuesday. Number one, in Kansas is in the finals, and I gave those people 15 great years. And I've got at least 9 former players here tonight cheering on their former school, and so that makes it part family, Jim.
Roy, you were in a similar circumstance as Bill Self is tonight. Several years ago when you coached North Carolina, when you coached Kansas in the finals and North Carolina was calling. Bill Self now reportedly has an offer from Oklahoma State. How difficult of a situation is that to have on game day and to be going through that when you're trying to win a national championship?
Well, I can't speak for Bill, but I will guess that it's not a distraction because he loves his team. His team is his only focus. It was not a distraction for me at all, Jimmy, because I focused everything on my team and looked at it afterwards. But I would expect, and again, I can't speak for Bill, but I would expect that's the way he's doing it also.
We have about 5 or 6 seconds here. Your assessment so far of what you've seen.
Tremendous athletes on both teams. This is the kind of national championship game that could go down to the wire.
Roy, I said it the other night. I'm going to say it again. You are one class act and a true champion.
Thank you very much, Jimbo. Thank you.
Kevin, back to you guys.
Jim, I'm sure you echo all the comments here and the thoughts of everybody at this table. It's pretty cool that he's sitting in the stands for Kansas today.
He's an impressive guy. John's known him since he was an assistant with Dean. But I must say, I've never seen John Thompson wear a Villanova jersey.
And I don't think you will. I don't think you will.
Derrick Rose will bring it up for Memphis as we get back to work here. Memphis going left to right. Tied at 13 here in this first half. Rose will dribble over to the left wing. Taggart back on the floor with those 2 fouls as Chris Douglas-Roberts sizes up Rush. Here's Taggart. Right block extended. He'll try to lower the shoulder and bang in on Jackson. The jumper up, no good. Rebound underneath taken by Kansas. Rush got in there again, and Collins on the run. Long pass ahead, trying to hit Jackson in stride, but Taggart able to knock it out of bounds. It'll stay with KU.
See, it's interesting to me. The more you watch tape, Kansas can run on anybody, and Memphis can be run on because they do so much penetrating. You don't get all the balance. Taggart just saved the basket with great hustle, John.
And Memphis has got to jump on Collins. Collins is more significant to this Kansas team than he's been given credit. You've got to definitely get on him. He's making plays. He's setting tempo.
Here's Rush off the inbound, driving past Douglas-Roberts all the way to the basket, and Rush lays it in, and Kansas has their first lead at 15-13.
Lingerie on the deck. How about that blow by? Fancy footwork by Rush.
Kansas is doing a lot of what Memphis did the other day and getting it inside and penetrating inside.
Here's Douglas-Roberts to Kemp at the top, fakes the 3. Kemp will kick it out to Douglas-Roberts for 3. He'll try to jab step in. Now he'll drive into the paint, and the foul is called. On the floor, Chris Douglas-Roberts got to tuck that ball and drove from left into the middle of the lane, and the foul going inside on Sharon Collins, who reached in as he went by.
How about the footwork of these kids defensively? I mean, that was a great play to keep them out there.
Well, and both teams are good defensively, as you've indicated, Billy, because both teams are very capable of penetrating. You've got two teams that have got good foot speed defensively and offensively. Right now, I'd give Kansas the upper hand in being able to get to the cup, though.
Inbound to Anderson, who fires up top to Taggart. Taggart spinning past the free throw line, fires up a tough jumper over Arthur. It's no good, knocked out of bounds by Darrell Arthur, and Memphis with a new 35.
You know what Kansas is doing a better job of than happened last time is that Kansas is keeping Memphis off of the boards. After Memphis throws it up, they're not getting a second shot.
Anderson trying to find room to get it in, just gets it in on the right wing to Douglas-Roberts. Here's Rose at the top against Robinson. Back to Taggart. Taggart finds CDR on the right wing. Feeding Taggart again. Working into the paint. Got Arthur in the air. The jumper over him. No good. Rebound tapped out, and Kansas has it. Here comes Robinson. They don't have numbers. Robinson will hold up. Finds Chalmers on the left wing, and now feeds the post. Darnell Jackson against Taggart with 2 fouls. Kicks it back out to Chalmers for 3. He got it!
What a great inside out. And Jackson, terrific input by not rushing it, forcing it. Terrific step-in jumper.
18-13 Kansas with 9:48 remaining first half. Rose trying to rally Memphis. A long pull-up jumper is no good. Rebound taps out to Antonio Anderson, but a foul going the other way. Over the back, coming on Joey Dorsey, and that is number 1 on the big man.
See, that's an example, again, Billy, of what we're saying. Kansas defense is causing Memphis to rely on jump shooting, whereas before they got transitional and penetration off of half-court sets. So that's a tribute to the defense. If Memphis is not hitting that outside shot, they better doggone sight be able to play better defense and get on down.
And just an add-on to what John is saying, they're playing individually well, containing their guy. They don't have to leave and be in a passing lane. You can stay at home and guard your guy as they run their weave on the perimeter.
I'm not sure who that sharpshooter that you talk about for Memphis is to hit that perimeter jumper. They didn't show it the other day, but Dorsey with the steal for Memphis. The big man runs the floor, and a two-handed stuff. What a momentum turn.
Excuse me, a little woofing. He's got to be careful. Joey just banged Aldridge after it. Play within yourself.
18-15, Kansas's lead is 3. That broke a 7-0 KU run. 9:15 left first half.
You've got to get something, Kevin, off of that defense, and Kansas guards are too good just to take balls from him the way they were the other day.
Chalmers, a low pass, bounces off Aldrich's leg. It's taken by Rose, and then Chalmers takes it right back. He'll drive right at Rose, and a finger roll up and in for Mario Chalmers. Kansas 20, Memphis 15.
He out-Rosed Rose on that move.
Out-Rosed him and picked the Rose.
Anderson driving on Chalmers on the other end. Ball stripped out of his hands, and it'll roll out of bounds. It'll stay with Memphis. 8:47 left in the half, and Memphis down by 5.
I haven't seen a team in a long time that's able to steal the ball the way Kansas is
The quick hands.
stealing
Yeah.
balls. I'm telling you.
Well, you move the feet, as you well know, and then the hands take over. The sleight of hand, extremely clever.
Well, and everybody in this business always says defense is played with your feet, and that's true. But I'll be doggone if it's not played with your hands amongst these guys, too.
Anderson looking to inbound, peering to find someone open. Has to go deep to Rose, and then Robinson with a little hand on the chest to get his second personal foul. That's big. That's 2 on a guy who's contained Rose well.
Little nickel dimer, no sales tax. Oh, just hate to give those up out that far from the basket. And you're right, puts you in a difficult position. Robinson with the 2.
Sharon Collins in, Robinson out. Derrick Rose already 2 turnovers tonight. He had no more than 2 in any of his last 7 games coming in. He gives it up to Anderson on the right wing as Pierre Niles is in. Here's Donnell Mack for 3. That's no good. Rebound to Sharon Collins. 1 and done again as Kansas starts to run. The alley-oop from Rush to Darrell Arthur. Again with the stuff. And Kansas leads it 22-15.
Numbers in blue, getting to the rim. And white shirts not getting back protecting.
Body language is bad right now with Memphis, too. Kansas looks like they're full of confidence.
Rose trying to behind-the-back dribble, spins into the paint, nothing there, kicks it out to Anderson for 3, and a huge 3 for Antonio Anderson in Memphis to draw the Tigers within 4. Chalmers trying to beat everybody down the floor. He throws up the shot, no good, got his own rebound, and put it back in with a fist in his face, and it's 24-18 Kansas. Here's Rose attacking. Into the corner, it's Dozier for 3. And the big man hits from the left corner. And Memphis right back in, down just 3.
And that's the Rose adjustment. Dribble drive, find somebody.
And it's a good sign, too, for Memphis because they've got to be able to hit those shots on the outside to open up for penetration.
Started 0 for 4 from 3. They've hit their last 2 as Arthur drives it in and he walks. Collision on the right block, and he takes an extra step. And John Calipari with a crazed look in his eye as he approached Pierre Niles, his young big man, at the timeout, and he's still glaring at him as we step aside for the moment. Kansas 24, Memphis 21. 7:25 remaining in the first half. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
He learned to pitch in your backyard. Now his team's coming over to celebrate their high school championship. So you need to patch those bare spots fast. Pennington One Step Complete has a revolutionary formula that repairs bare spots in only 2 weeks or less. Pennington's been trusted since 1945, and now it works even faster. One Step Complete from Pennington. Honest green. Get your lawn ready for any occasion. Head to your local retailer to pick up One Step Complete.
Okay, you know how it feels when you've saved enough for that long-awaited home edition? Now imagine an addition on that addition. Whoa. That's the feeling with Capital One, where a new savings account earns an interest rate 5 times the national average. That's right, 5 times, as represented by 5 times more singers. This is banking reimagined. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Rate comparison based on FDIC national rate. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Hey, get your head in the game. This ain't no exhibition match. This is for real. You've got a house to insure, and there are no excuses because Progressive's Home Quote Explorer makes it easier than ever to get the coverage you need. Here's some music to get you pumped. Don't chugga 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 meow meow meow. Don't chugga chugga chugga. Feel that confidence? Don't chugga chugga chugga. Did I say stop saving money? No. Don't chugga 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 meow meow.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers.
From small updates to big projects, Lowe's has what you need and deals to help you save. Step up your flooring with 10% off Pergo laminate when you also purchase Pergo Gold underlayment. And see your home in a whole new light by shopping the latest decorative lighting styles. Don't want to install it yourself? No problem, because now you can get up to $70 off lighting installation. Whatever's on your to-do list today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 4/8 U.S. only.
Alongside John Thompson, Bill Raftery, I'm Kevin Kugler from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. The Kansas cheer squad runs off the floor as the horn sounds to signal its return to play. And there's been a lot to cheer about in this first half so far.
I think the big thing, and John's alluded to, if they can make jump shots, Memphis, They can win this game with that dribble drive, but the wall formed in the lane. They're not permitting penetration.
That's exactly right. Kansas is doing two things. They're taking care of the ball on offense so Memphis doesn't get steals. On defense, they're daring Memphis to beat them outside and clogging up the middle so Memphis doesn't get the drives they got the other day.
Memphis with the ball. Down 3, 24-21 as Rose walks it up for the Tigers. Sharon Collins on him. Russell Robinson on the bench with 2 personals. Here's Chris Douglas Roberts at the free throw line. Driving to the basket against Rush, and the left-handed layup is good for Chris Douglas Roberts, just wiggling his way through to get to the basket.
And they ran a nice set. They got Dorsey to the box. It opened up that left side. He's able to use that slithery move to the 10.
Douglas Roberts made that shot, Billy, in traffic.
That was tough.
Traffic.
8 points for Chris Douglas Roberts. Kansas by 1, 24-23. Chalmers drives in, nothing there. He'll back it out to Collins, who will reset the offense with 17 on the shot clock. Around a screen from Kahn. Collins dribbles at the top, Rose on him. Chalmers extended, 10 to shoot it. Again, around a Kahn screen. Now Kahn rolling to the basket, gets the pass. His shot blocked by Joey Dorsey out of nowhere. Starts the break the other way. Antonio Anderson all the way to the rack. No good on the shot. Rose the offensive rebound. He'll throw it back out to Douglas Roberts for 3. And Memphis has the lead again as Douglas Roberts hits the 3. 26-24 Tigers.
How good is Rose? The rebound and the kick out.
How good is Douglas Roberts?
Oh, the step in, no question.
Wow. Kid doesn't have any conscience. Passing never crosses his mind.
11 for Douglas Roberts. Here's Sharon Collins on the drive, and the floater is good to tie it at 26.
How tough is that kid?
Collins is very tough. I mean, he's got grit because every time you make a run at him, he's the one that either makes the play or scores the basket.
26-26, 5:50 left first half of the national championship.
Dorsey's way out in the corner. Billy's right. They're begging him to shoot it.
Dozier curling in. His hook shot is no good, and Chalmers scoots through for the rebound. He'll start it the other way for Kansas. Trying to break this 26-all tie. Chalmers drives, kicks out. Arthur whips it into the corner. Sharon Collins, high arcing 3. No good. Rebound tapped into the corner and saved by Kansas' Mario Chalmers. Chalmers, wraparound pass. Kahn with a dunk. A one-handed stuff for Sasha Kahn, and it's 28-26 Kansas.
They're really hustling. Rush made a great play, but Joey Dorsey's got involved with the official. The official went to John Calipari. He's got to play his game, get his head in it.
Well, Kansas is beating them to every loose ball on the floor. You're exactly right, Billy. Memphis has got to get focused now.
Here's Rose just dribbling between the circles, trying to find some room. Douglas Roberts on the right side around a Dorsey screen. Sets up, fires the jumper, and Chris Douglas Roberts with a long 2. Boy, is he feeling it. He ties it at 28.
He's so good, you cannot go underneath and give him that open look. He's too good.
Because of the fact that he drives, he shoots, I mean, and plus the fact that you know he's going to take shots. He's not thinking about passing.
13 first half points for Chris Douglas Roberts to lead all scorers. Here's Chalmers on the drive from the left side. Chalmers knocks down, and Antonio Anderson gets it back out to Collins. Collins hop step into the lane. Ball knocked free and picked up by the Tigers' Chris Douglas Roberts. He'll dribble in the open floor. Trying to attack against Rush, but Rush got back quickly. Now Rose on the left side. Fires it into Dozier. Dozier backing in left block. Back out to Douglas Roberts again on the left wing. 22 to shoot. Douglas Roberts trying to drive, nothing there, and it's out of bounds, tipped out by KU, and it'll stay with the Tigers as Sean Taggart returns for Memphis. Robinson and Jackson back in for Kansas.
You know what kind of scares me, Billy, right now? I don't think Memphis is playing real well. Look at the score. Look at the score.
You know, right now, Aldridge in the game, I would go to Dorsey. Give him some touches. Let him use that experience.
15 to shoot as Taggart starts it up top to Douglas Roberts. Around a Dorsey screen. Douglas Roberts with 8 to shoot. Eyeing Rush. Dorsey comes by to pick him off again. He whips it out to Anderson. 4-3 in the corner, no good. Rebound tapped by Dorsey into the corner, but out of bounds. Nobody there. And it goes back to Kansas with 3:50 remaining in this first half. 28 apiece between Memphis and Kansas in the national championship. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
When you go to the mechanic in here...
Pass me the torque. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
That sounds wrong. You know what else sounds wrong? When you hear about the interest you're earning on your savings with the largest banks. But with the Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, you could earn much more interest. And hear this. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
The Capital One Quicksilver Card Show.
Cut! The
Capital One Quicksilver card is simple. No need for a whole song and dance. Don't be sad. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. That's the spirit. The Capital One Quicksilver card is simple, unlimited 1.5% cash back. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One Bank, USA, N.A.
When a pro like you takes on a job, you need reliable brands to get it done right. Lowe's gets it. That's why we stock the brands you count on every day, like Metabo HPT and Valspar. And we even help you save. Stop in today and get a Metabo HPT multi-volt brushless cordless hammer drill and impact driver combo kit for $200 less, now just $199. And for your next paint job, save $10 on 5-gallon pails of Valspar Pro Wall and Ceiling Primer, now $39.98. For big brands at big savings. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid for 4/1 U.S. only.
Nerds! NerdWallet presents Money Questions, the lightning round. Here we go, Carol. How can people compare the best credit cards?
Turn to the nerds.
Should you pay off debt or save for retirement?
Turn to the nerds.
One more. Should I listen to my father-in-law's advice on mortgage lenders?
Turn to the nerds.
You win!
Woo!
Confetti is literally falling from the sky.
I'm going to put my winnings in a 2-year CD.
That would be prudent, Carol.
From helpful tools to expert guidance. For all your money questions, turn to the nerds at nerdwallet.com. NMLS ID number 1617539.
Ryan Radke back at our Westwood One studios in New York. Today we're bringing you the classic overtime thriller that was the 2008 National Championship between Bill Self's Kansas Jayhawks and John Calipari's Memphis Tigers. Both teams number 1 seeds. They were dominant all season long, and as expected, the first half has been a close affair with the teams tied up at 28. Make sure you stay with us at halftime. I'll chat with current Wake Forest head coach Danny Manning. The Jayhawk legend won a title as a player for Kansas, where he was MVP of the 1988 Final Four and also an assistant coach on Bill Self's staff. But right now, let's get you back to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, John Thompson, and sideline reporter Jim Gray have the conclusion of the first half.
Kansas will walk it up with Sharon Collins at the helm, 28 apiece here with 3:40 left in the first half. Jackson at the free throw line to Collins on the left wing. Collins trying to drive past Rose. Nothing there this time, and it goes back out to Robinson. Robinson and Collins both in the backcourt with Rush for Kansas right now. Collins on the left wing. Rose picked off by an Aldridge screen. The shot up no good. Rebound knocked to the side. Jackson saves it for Kansas to Rush. He'll fire the quick three at the top. No good. And the rebound, Derrick Rose inside his 5th board of the first half.
And what a rebounder for a guard that kid is. Amazing.
3:07 left in the first half. Rose setting it up for Chris Douglas Roberts. He's had the hot hand with 13 first half points.
I like the way John just isolates him.
There's the little ball screen and slip by Dorsey. See if they can get him involved a little bit.
Rose up top to Anderson, 10 to shoot. Anderson on the drive, shovels back to Douglas Roberts. Right corner 3. That's too strong. Rebound Sharon Collins, and Collins trying to run. He's got Rush out in front, but Memphis gets back quickly, and the break is stymied. Robinson to Aldridge. Had a big game on Saturday against North Carolina. Now Rush will drive in on Dorsey. The jumper is good, and they're going to call the block on Joey Dorsey, and that's number 2 on the big man for Memphis.
He's really having his troubles. A nice step in and read. He has to do a lot of things defensively, though. He blocks shots, coordinates any penetration, and very tough. And right now, Chris Douglas Roberts, how about him? 5 for 7, 71%. The rest of the team really struggling. 6 for 19 and 32. So clear his side and let that youngster do his damage.
And I always hate to see big guys picking up fouls on faking charges. Block a shot, knock somebody down.
Yeah, because you had 4 of them, though. You had 4 different guys to come
exactly
in.
Right. But, you see guys jumping out there, falling. And this kid's a great shot blocker, and he's got feet good enough to do it.
Well, now some big-time foul trouble for John Calipari with Dozier, Dorsey, and Taggart all with 2 fouls, and there's still 2.5 to play.
And that's the game plan of Kansas. That's why they've been attacking inside, because they know that they get deeper in that front line than Memphis is.
Dozier to Rose on the left wing, 31-28, Kansas by 3. Rose, skip pass taken away, Chalmers with a steal. Kansas's 5th steal of this first half.
Great help by Kahn on the double, caused the turnover.
Collins to Rush at the top. Rush against Douglas Roberts, trying to drive, nothing there. He'll back it out to Chalmers. 2 minutes remaining in this first half, 31-28. Chalmers on the drive, all the way to the rack, no good on the shot. Kahn, the only man in there, gets the rebound for Kansas. Gets it back out to Collins, and a new 35 for the Jayhawks. Collins works between the circles. Here's Chalmers for three. That's too strong, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Chris Douglas-Roberts. Arthur chasing it down in the corner as well, and Kansas gets it again with 1:43 left first half.
Exactly. Kansas is really out hustling Memphis for the floor balls, the balls that are just springing loose. They're getting to the ball much quicker.
Inbound works up top to Kahn. Rose nearly with a steal. Collins able to keep a hand on it for Kansas and keep the possession. Jayhawks lead at 31-28. Collins, bounce pass, Arthur, left block, turns, hook shot in the paint, rolls home. Darrell Arthur gives Kansas a 5-point lead.
Collins, a heck of an addition with that entry. Again, the duck in. Great preparation. Inferior D by Memphis.
And not an easy pass to throw. People take for granted entering that pass in the post.
Taggart loses a handle on it, and it's turned over to Kansas. Kansas fans rising here in the Alamo Dome. 5-point lead. And Chalmers will bring it up. Curls into the paint. Chalmers floater up, no good. Rebound and a foul inside. Dozier went up, and Arthur came underneath him and commits the personal foul. And that'll be number 2 on Darrell Arthur.
That shot should have been made, by the way. That's what really hurt them. Came up with a strange release around the rim.
You know, Kansas does a great job of, Billy, anytime they get penetration by a guard, the big guys know how to step into the window so that they can receive the ball. They just don't stand out on the perimeter and take pictures.
I think he's thinking 2 versus 1 right here. This is the NBA background of John Calipari. 2 attempts versus 1. It looks like a zone.
And you got 10
straight up man.
You got 10 eyes of Kansas players looking at Rose because they know he's going to go.
Drives it in, tries to dump it off as he got caught up in the air by Sasha Khan. 5 to shoot as he gets it back on the perimeter. 3 to shoot. Anderson, a guarded 3. It's no good. Rebound kicks out to Taggart, and Memphis now will hold for the last shot.
Might have been the first loose ball that they've got.
Yeah, maybe.
Chris Douglas-Roberts standing near the logo on center court. 15 seconds to go in the half.
I wouldn't let Rose touch it. They do.
Rose has it, came and got it from Douglas-Roberts. 8 to shoot, 7 to shoot. Rose, 5 points down to Dozier, to Anderson. 1 second, and they're not going to get a shot off.
Great defense on the perimeter. The double of the ball, so key. You got to do some different things. A different scheme with this kid Rose. He can just pick you apart.
1/10 of a second left officially as the ball was knocked out of bounds, but they can't do anything
Can't
with
do
this.
anything.
So this is academic here as with 1/10 left.
John used to have a Jesuit priest on the clock. You could do it down there.
We call it reaction time. And sometimes that reaction was very slow.
But it favored Georgetown.
When you hire a 97-year-old clock keeper, that'll happen. And Rose cannot get a shot off. As we mentioned, with 1/10 of a second, you can't grab and throw up a shot. Rose tried, and halftime is here. Memphis went 4:55 without a point down the stretch, and a tie game turned into a 33-28 Kansas lead at halftime, and Kansas has to feel very good. Not only did they take a 5-point lead into the locker room, but Taggart and Dozier and Dorsey all walk in with 2 personal fouls.
Well, and I think a lot of it, and Billy's been saying it all along, has to do with Kansas defense. I mean, they're collapsing in the middle. They're cutting off penetration. As a result of it, all Memphis has to depend on is over the top. They're not getting the transition baskets they were getting before. Now they only have to shoot outside.
The ability to run some stuff's going to become important for Memphis. They're not getting it on one-on-one driving, so you got to get better coordination in your offense.
Memphis has been averaging 84 points a game in the tournament. They have 28 at the half on a 56-point pace. Our halftime score, Kansas 33, Memphis 28. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
She used to play hide and seek in your backyard. Now she's getting married in it. So when you see a bare spot, you need something that patches it fast. Pennington One Step Complete has a revolutionary formula that repairs bare spots in only 2 weeks or less. Pennington has been trusted since 1945, and now it works even faster. One Step Complete from Pennington. Honest green. Get your lawn ready for any occasion. Head to your local retailer to pick up One Step Complete.
There's an app to save on flights, an app to rent a bike, and an app to help you save for driving safely. The Allstate app gives you real-time driving feedback with DriveWise, giving you the power to lower your insurance cost. In fact, safe drivers can save 40% or more. Connect and save with DriveWise. You're in good hands.
Download the Allstate app today. Savings may vary by state and driving behaviors. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Use of Allstate Mobile with activation of Drivewise required. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. Over 95% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2019 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Pros like you rely on trusted brands every day, like Bosch. And when it comes to finding those brands, you can count on Lowe's to have what you need, when you need it. Stop in today and pick up a Bosch 18-volt cordless reciprocating saw, and you'll get a Bosch Core 18-volt battery kit for free. Save time by ordering at lowesforpros.com, and you can pick up your order at the Pro Desk. Whatever you need for the job today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 8/15 U.S. only.
Ryan Radke back with you in our Westwood One studios. Our score at halftime of the 2008 National Championship game, Kansas 33 and Memphis 28. The Jayhawks with a 5-0 run to close out the first half, holding the Tigers scoreless for the final 4:54 of that half. We heard Kevin Kugler say right before the break, Memphis, a team that has averaged 84 points a game in their 5 previous games in this tournament. One man who has intimate knowledge of the Kansas program is current Wake Forest coach and famed Jayhawk alum Danny Manning. As a player, he was leader of Danny and the Miracles, whose upstart squad defied the odds and beat Oklahoma to win the 1988 title despite entering that tournament as a number 6 seed. And as we mentioned, he was an assistant with Bill Self in this 2008 season. Pleased now to welcome in Danny Manning. And Danny, when you think about that 2008 Kansas team, what stands out for you about this club?
Well, I thought we had a lot of depth on that team. I thought competition in practice was outstanding. I thought guys challenged and competed every day, to the point of it, you have to slow practice down a little bit and calm the competitiveness down. I thought following Coach Self's lead, the guys came out and really locked in on what we needed to do and what he wanted those guys to do each game that we played. And we have continued to get better and better and have a better understanding of what each individual was bringing to the table. And there was a lot of unselfishness with that group as well.
Tell me about the atmosphere going in. You guys had some early exits 2 of the previous 3 years, losses to teams like Bucknell and Bradley. As you guys began this tournament, what was it like around the team?
Well, the goal is always postseason play. The goal is always to be the last team standing, and that doesn't change. And so for us, it was just one game at a time. Let's go out here and control what we can control, handle any situation that's thrown at us, and the guys had a mindset of be ready to go when your number's called. And, we had a lot of guys throughout that run make great plays or have spectacular games to help us continue to survive and advance.
You had the unique perspective of having gone through this as a player and won a national championship as a player at Kansas. What did you tell the guys as they got set to go into this national title game and take on Memphis?
Well, it was just enjoy the moment. That was a message from all the coaches for the most part. Enjoy the moment. You worked hard to be here. Obviously, we're fortunate and we're blessed, but, you put forth the work, and you got a chance to do something special. You got a chance to be a part of history every time the Final Four comes on, seeing that banner hang with National Championship Kansas on it. And so that was the mindset. Let's go out here, let's compete, let's battle, let's do whatever we can to give ourselves a chance to win.
What was more nerve-wracking for you, going through this as a player or sitting on the bench as an assistant coach?
By far, sitting on the bench as an assistant coach. Because as a player, you go through your workouts in the off season and do different things, and you don't realize everything that goes into it, how fortunate you have to be in terms of draw, maybe health-wise and injury. As a player, you're just like, I'm going to figure out a way to go make this happen. And then as a coach, you're like, okay, we got to make sure we got a really good scout. We got to make sure we understand personnel. We got to make sure we know their favorite plays, what plays do they like to run coming out of timeouts, what defenses will they throw at us as a changeup. So all those things are running through your head as a coach. Whereas a player, it was, you're a little bit more focused on what's happening play-wise on the court and not so much all those other things that I mentioned.
Kansas legend Danny Manning is our guest. He was an assistant coach on the 2008 National Championship team. Coach, let's go to late in the first half. We just heard it. You guys had some runs there late in the first half and held a high-scoring Memphis team to just 28 points at the break. I know coaches are always focused on defense. Did you guys feel pretty good going in, given what you had done against that high-powered offense?
Well, we just wanted to make them take contested shots. We didn't want them to get out in transition. You know, that team was really, really good at creating transition opportunities off the glass by getting the rebound and pushing it up, or a deflection and getting it out in the open court. So we wanted to do a good job of taking care of the basketball, going to meet the ball, being strong with it, and pursuing the basketball. And we thought if we could keep them out of the half court and limit some of those fast break opportunities, that would bode well for us.
With the exception of Davidson, which gave you a little scare in the Elite Eight, you guys had really rolled through the tournament, including that game against North Carolina a couple of nights before. What's it like in the locker room now in this tight game with the national title on the line?
Focus, extreme focus. You know, it's just, okay, what each individual is in there thinking, what can I do to help put us in a better situation? And I got to be ready when the numbers call. And, you know, Coach Self did a great job of making sure our guys understood that. And, you know, we were ready to go when we came back out of that locker room. You know, we were focused, and we got another half to go. And we got to do whatever we can to come up with a victory.
How special was this group of guys as you look back on what they accomplished throughout the entire season, and especially on that Monday night against Memphis?
You know, very, very proud of that group. But all the groups were always proud of them. But, you know, when you win a national championship, a lot of sacrifice goes into it. So you got to, you know, I thought Coach Suff did a great job of letting guys know that he and our staff appreciated the sacrifices that everybody made to put us in that position, because we were a deep team. And let those guys know that I'm so proud of them, and let them know that, you know, we'll go down in history. You'll go down in history. Not only just NCAA history, but Kansas history. And it's really special, and it's very unique. And, you know, you just feel very fortunate and blessed to be a part of a group like that.
Danny Manning, certainly appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
All right, take care. Thank you.
That's Wake Forest head coach Danny Manning, assistant coach for the 2008 Kansas Jayhawks national title team and one of the all-time greats in school history. His number 25 hangs in the rafters at Allen Fieldhouse. Our score at halftime of the 2008 national championship game, Kansas 33, Memphis 28. We'll continue with our rebroadcast of this classic game in a moment. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is a special encore presentation of March Madness.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
Warm fleece on a cold day. I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds? At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Here's Donnell Mack for three. That's no good. Rebound to Sharon Collins. One and done again as Kansas starts to run. The alley-oop from Rush to Darrell Arthur. Again with the stuff. And Kansas leads it 22-15.
Numbers in blue getting to the rim. And white shirts not getting back protected.
Darrell Arthur's thunderous dunk, part of an 11-2 run midway through the first half that has given Kansas a 33-28 lead at the break. Ryan Radke back in our Westwood One studios as we continue with our rebroadcast of the 2008 National Championship. The 5-point deficit by Memphis, the largest they have trailed at halftime all season. Super freshman guard Derrick Rose struggling so far, already committing 3 turnovers in the game. He only had 6 turnovers combined in the other 5 games of this year's tournament. Tigers led by his backcourt mate Chris Douglas-Roberts. He has 13 points, while Darrell Arthur has 10 for Kansas, who shot 52% in that first half. A reminder to join us tomorrow as we continue to rebroadcast some of the greatest games in NCAA tournament history. First up, we'll bring you Florida Gulf Coast captivating upset of Georgetown in the first round of the 2013 NCAA tournament, followed by the 2016 National Championship game that saw Chris Jenkins hit a game-winning buzzer beater to win the title for Villanova over North Carolina. Our coverage tips off at noon Eastern on many of these same Westwood One stations. When we come back, we'll have the start of the second half of the 2008 National Championship. Kansas on top of Memphis 33-28. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
Nerds! NerdWallet presents Money Questions, the lightning round. Here we go, Carol. How can people compare the best credit cards?
Turn to the nerds.
Should you pay off debt or save for retirement?
Turn to the nerds.
One more. Should I listen to my father-in-law's advice on mortgage lenders?
Turn to the nerds.
You win!
Woo!
Confetti is literally falling from the sky.
I'm going to put my winnings in a 2-year CD.
That would be prudent, Carol.
From helpful tools to expert guidance, for all your money questions, turn to the nerds at nerdwallet.com. And MLS ID number 1617539.
Trade Pros. Ferguson is committed to making business with us the easiest part of your day. Ferguson.com is designed to help run your business from the office to the job site by making your day-to-day activities easier with 24/7 account access, unmatched online inventory, and on-the-go account management. And with our Pro Plus customer loyalty program, you can earn points with every online purchase, redeemable for merchandise, event tickets, trips, and more. Sign up today at Ferguson.com.
When you go to the mechanic in here...
Pass me the torque. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
That sounds wrong. You know what else sounds wrong? When you hear about the interest you're earning on your savings with the largest banks. But with the Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, you could earn much more interest. And hear this. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at Marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
Progressive presents Get Pumped. Inspiration to help you do insurance stuff.
Hey, are you just gonna stand there and let people not give you credit for being a good driver? You deserve discounts on car insurance, and that's what Snapshot from Progressive is for. So why aren't you signing up? You need music to get pumped? Hit it! Drum solo! Ow, that hurts my fingers.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
Ryan Radke back in our Westwood One studios, continuing with our encore presentation of the 2008 National Championship between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Memphis Tigers. Time now for the start of the second half, sponsored by NerdWallet.com. If you need objective advice, expert info, and helpful tools to answer your money questions, turn to the nerds at nerdwallet.com. Kansas 33, Memphis 28. Let's head back to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio now. Rejoin Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, John Thompson, and Jim Gray.
Well, Jim Gray had the chance to chat with the coaches, and for what the coaches are thinking about this one, let's rejoin Jim Gray.
All right, Kevin, first let's start with John Calipari. He said we have to get much more scrappy. We are just not fighting enough for the loose balls. We have to get down on the ground. We have to do everything that got us those 39 wins so far. I just don't understand it, but I let them know at halftime we've got to get much quicker and much tougher. We're going to run a lot more motion on our offense. We're too stagnant, and he's going to try and design some plays or get out in the transition, as John Thompson just said, Derrick Rose. Now, as for Bill Self, he said, hey, you know what? All of the balls have been falling to us. That was more luck than design. We've got to move a little bit better as well. We're too stagnant. He doesn't like the fact that the loose balls are coming to them as opposed to going after them. He also said, offensively, we've struggled at times ourselves. Even though we're shooting 52%, we are fortunate that we have a 5-point lead. This could be the opposite. Kevin?
Jim, thank you very much. It's time for the start of the second half. 20 minutes to a champion here in San Antonio. As the Tigers and Jayhawks get back out on the court, it'll be Memphis basketball to start.
Billy, I don't know what Bill Self is talking about. I always enjoyed it when loose balls were coming to me.
Whether you got them or they came to you, right?
It didn't matter.
Rose will bring it up to start things off for the Memphis Tigers, trailing by 5, matching their largest halftime deficit of the year. Just how competitive they've been.
Rose has got to get more aggressive offensively, I think, because he helps this team by his penetration.
Here he goes, penetrating past Robinson, dumps it down to Dozier, and Dozier crashing in from the right side with a two-handed stuff to start the second half. And Anderson knocks it out of bounds off of Chalmers, and it'll belong to Memphis again.
Well, that's the start they want. You know, great players find people when they're hanging out to dry. What a great look to finish, the strong completion, and then Anderson's sensational reaction on the denial.
Two things, a Rose penetration and then a great defensive play. That's what'll get them jump-started.
33-30, Kansas by 3. Here's Dorsey on the right block, back in the corner to Chris Douglas-Roberts. Chris Douglas-Roberts doubled on the perimeter. Got to get rid of the ball. Nobody there to help, and it goes off the foot of Jackson into the backcourt. Rose will pick it up with 13 to shoot for Memphis. Now 10 on the shot clock as he brings it across the timeline. Rose with 6 to shoot. Dozier, and now Anderson, left wing, 4-3. He hits it! And it took just 1 minute and 5 seconds for Memphis to come back from 5 down. They're tied at 33.
Boy, he must have been scathing with his remarks, Calipari. They are on fire.
Because they've done 3 things they need to do. Penetrate, they've also stolen the loose ball, and then they hit the outside jumper.
Kansas with their first possession as they set up with Rush on the left wing. Rush to the free throw line, back to Robinson, tied at 33. Chalmers working around an Arthur screen, drives into the paint, floater no good, but he is fouled. And Chalmers is going to go to the line for a chance at 2 free throws, 2 points. Antonio Anderson commits the personal foul. That's number 2 on Anderson.
You can really tell, Billy, which team prefers the half-court sets, because Kansas comes up with a basket or a foul most of the time.
Right, they do. They run nice, intricate sets. We haven't seen a lob this half yet, so be careful.
35-33, Kansas by 2. Dorsey, nice back cut. Anderson's layup, good. And a foul. Anderson heading to the line to try to give Memphis the lead. And the foul inside on Darnell Jackson of Kansas, his second.
Well, and that's different from the first half. Now they're getting to the rack.
Absolutely.
They weren't penetrating before, weren't able to penetrate. But now they're showing the giving and going, getting to the basket. Rather than dribble. Remember the last game, everything was on dribble penetration. The last 2 were cuts.
Great adjustment halftime when you think of it. Dorsey shaped up in the lane. Nice little bounce pass, the easy finish, and a chance for 3 with Anderson on the line.
Anderson's free throw is good. Memphis by 1, 36-35. Storming out of the locker room, and the Tigers pressure on the inbound. And now Kansas will walk it up against that pressure. 26-24. That's the last time we saw a Memphis lead on the scoreboard.
You should be able to get some back cuts because Memphis is really denying on the wings and being more aggressive.
Rush in the corner to Robinson. We've played just 2 minutes and change here in this second half, but what a start. Jackson at the top, left alone. He'll bounce it down low. Arthur alone. Reverse layup is good. What a pass and what a finish by Arthur.
What timing. Just sensational and a great little catchable bounce pass to the big fella at the box.
Kansas definitely has a comfort level in playing slower.
They sure do. And yet they can get up and down, too.
37-36 Kansas. Douglas Roberts to Rose on the left wing with 20 to shoot. Rose behind the back pass to Dozier. Dozier fakes the jumper, drives to the basket. His shot is blocked away by Rush. Goes into the hands of the Tigers. They get it back. Anderson on the drive, kicks right side to Douglas Roberts with 8 to shoot. Douglas Roberts, a guarded long 2. It's no good. And the rebound tapped over by Jackson to Robinson of Kansas.
Great check out.
Arthur looking nowhere. Rush on the right wing. 3 minutes gone in this second half. Chalmers with a fake and the drive. The floater no good. Dorsey with great post D. Ball pops into the hands of Anderson. He's on the run. Anderson attacking. Dumps it to Chris Douglas Roberts. Reverse layup is no good. Dozier the rebound, no good. Dozier gets it again. His ball knocked out of his hands, and Jackson gets the loose ball. Robinson to Chalmers. He'll fire the 3 on the right wing. Misses everything, and it falls in the lap of Antonio Anderson.
Kansas doesn't quite want this pace or shot selection.
And Rose with the alley-oop to Joey Dorsey.
And just as John said, you get into that woo-woo situation. That's their game, Memphis, up and down.
And they want you to play that way. Kansas can run, but they have to take opportunity breaks. They can't just shoot and fire back.
38-37, Rush on the drive. He is fouled on his way to the basket as Rush trying to get to the hole quickly. No basket. He made the shot, but it will not count. Chris Douglas Roberts commits his first personal foul.
Now you see where Kansas has lost control of the game just a little bit. And they get a little more shape and form to what they want to run on offense. Don't quick jack it up and don't turn it over. They can get back to it.
Well, you're absolutely correct. They want to run, but they want opportunity breaks because they run their offense very well at half. Memphis wants them to do that.
Sorry, Coach. Rush on the left wing to the free throw line, dumps it down to Sasha Khan, crashing from the left side, and he is fouled as he received the pass. Again, a nice dump down pass to the big man, and Khan brings it up. Dorsey commits his third personal foul. So 3 on the big fella for Memphis, and that'll prompt a move to the bench as Taggart will jog in very quickly for John Calipari, and Joey Dorsey a little bit of an eye roll as he makes his way to the bench. And John Calipari says, just calm down.
He is an emotional kid, and he went over to help out. He's frustrated because he didn't like the way his people defended. Stuck him.
Robinson on the drive all the way to the rim, and he lays it in to give Kansas the 1-point lead at 39-38.
And that shows what Kansas is able to do when they are patient and run their offense.
Rose will walk it up this time for the Tigers. Down by 1, 15:48 left, second half.
And Rush doing a real good job. Look where he's forcing the catch on Roberts, way out on the wing.
Rose will back it out near the timeline, 15 to shoot. Here's Douglas Roberts on the left wing. Rose backs it up again with a fist in the air, 10 on the shot clock. Taggart sets the screen, double team comes. He'll whip it to Taggart. Now back out to Anderson, left side Rose, 4 to shoot in the paint. Rose, tough shot. It will not go down, and the rebound to Rush for Kansas. Rush tripped up as he comes up the floor, and Douglas Roberts grabs the loose ball. His ball knocked out of his hands by Robinson, and it's out of bounds to Memphis.
Ryan Radke back in the Progressive Insurance Studios as we continue with Westwood One's rebroadcast of great games in tournament history. Quoting home insurance just got easier with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Quote and buy all online at progressive.com. Well, Memphis, the more aggressive team to start the second half of this 2008 National Championship. Quick 8-2 spurt to retake the lead momentarily before the teams traded buckets to the first media timeout of the second half. And that's where we stand right now. Kansas clings to a 39-38 lead with 15:15 to go in the second half. We'll head back to San Antonio in a moment. From the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, this is a special encore presentation of March Madness.
Women now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role forever.
Harvard Medical School has now opened its doors to new female applicants.
The first woman is now in space.
The majority of last year's doctorate degrees were earned by women.
We've come so far, but our news is changing for the worse. More women die from heart disease and stroke than men, even though it can be prevented. Make a change at GoRedForWomen.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Tonight's broadcast of the 2008 NCAA Men's Basketball Championship on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the NCAA and Westwood One is strictly prohibited.
You know, incidentally, I think it's got to get wide open and quicker for Memphis, because if it becomes a half-court game, I think it goes to Kansas. They're able to do so many things.
Without a doubt. And Memphis wants to push the pace a little bit, but Collins is in now. He has a tendency to push the pace for Kansas.
Robinson tips an attempted entry pass by Anderson to Rose out of bounds, and so Memphis will inbound again, down one, 39-38 with 15:04 remaining in this second half, and Anderson triggers into Rose on the left side. Right to left goes Memphis as we see it here courtside in this second half in San Antonio. And Rose jumps it over to the left side, and Dozier, 10 to shoot. Skip pass right side in the corner. Anderson has to jump high to catch it. 6 to shoot. Chris Douglas-Roberts backs up top to Rose. Left wing Douglas-Roberts, 2 to shoot. 1 to shoot. Dozier in the paint. As it goes off, it's no good on the shot. And Kahn with the rebound for Kansas.
Great defense, forced them late in the shot clock.
Robinson for KU, ball knocked free. Dozier with a steal. Ahead to Rose. Rose on the drive against Robinson. The shot is no good. Rebound tipped over to Russell Robinson. Kansas on the run. Here's Collins, drive into the basket. May have gotten away with a walk, kicks it out to Rush. Now in the corner to Robinson, and Kansas will back it out.
What reaction.
See, and great reaction in getting back, but great poise on the part of Kansas and not just throwing up a bunch of garbage.
Collins to Sasha Khan. Left block, turns into the paint. Hook shot, no. Tip try by Arthur, no. Second tip, no good. Rebound to Rose, and Rose the long outlet to Anderson. Anderson will drive right at Collins, and a blocking foul is called on Collins, and that'll be his second personal foul.
And a two-shot, boy, you better finish at the rim, because Memphis, that's what they want. They're going to turn anything you do wrong or incorrectly for a run out.
You said it earlier, Billy, and it's really true that Kansas is doing a great job reacting and getting back defensively. Even on missed baskets and stolen balls by Memphis, they're not getting the looks that they got the other day against UCLA.
Anderson misses his first free throw in the tournament. Antonio Anderson, one of the worst at the line for Memphis, shooting 57% in the NCAAs. That's right at his season average.
Kansas has done a great job of containing Rose, too. Rose dominated the game a little bit more than he's doing now.
Missed the second. Rebound, Darnell Jackson of KU. Collins will work it up with Kansas leading 39-38.
And John, with Rose, your comment well taken, because they've doubled him on any ball screens, made it tough for Rose to do anything.
Kansas by one. Jackson curls to the top. Here's Collins. Rose eyeing him around a con screen to pick off Rose. Collins driving on Taggart, kicks it to Jackson on the baseline jumper, and it rolls home. Darnell Jackson puts it down. He has 6, and it's 41-38 KU.
John wants to take Collins home with him. How about that penetration and dish? This kid raises the level of their play.
Douglas Roberts to Anderson for Memphis. 3-point deficit for the Tigers. Here's Douglas Roberts going one-on-one against Rush. Bangs into him, backs up, and throws up a prayer, and it's answered. It goes through. 1-point lead for KU.
Kevin couldn't describe it any better. It's throws, not even shots. He's throwing it up there and making it.
And Jackson on the other end gets deep, quick, and throws that one in, 43-40.
They're not working hard for their shots, and yet Memphis is countering them in a slower fashion. They want to get it up and down and take away the inside presence of Kansas.
KU by 3. Memphis with the ball. Douglas Roberts at the top against Rush. To the right side, Rose slips down to a knee, but able to keep his balance, gets back up and gives to Chris Douglas Roberts. Backing in on the right side against Rush. Double team comes. He'll back it out to Rose with 10 to shoot.
Great team.
Rose trying to go around a Dozier screen. Now to Anderson, left corner, guarded 3, no good. Rebound on the weak side by Rush for KU. 43-40 Kansas. 12:20 remaining. Collins on the drive, left baseline. His shot no good. Dozier with the rebound. Wants to outlet quickly. He gets it to Rose, but KU again back so quick, but Rose blows right by his man Collins, takes it all the way to the hole and lays it in.
What a great, he challenged Kahn, the 7-footer.
That was beautiful. That was the first time he's done that this game, though. And that's what he needs to do. Stretch out and look to score more aggressively.
Rose with 5 points in this ballgame. 43-42, Kansas by 1. Chalmers working the dribble at the top, goes to Collins on the left side. Collins very patient right now, just eyeing that defense. What's he gonna find?
A blitz and a nice little
ball knocked free, and Douglas Roberts with the steal. Douglas Roberts has it picked from behind by Chalmers, and it goes out of bounds off of Chalmers, and it's gonna stay with Memphis. Well, this is the national championship game, and you can tell everybody fighting everybody for that basketball.
And changing things, nice double and rotation to the top.
I really love the way the officials are calling or not calling fouls in this game. It's a common sense factor involved here. These guys are doing a great job.
They're letting them play. It's a veteran crew and a good one. Kansas 43, Memphis 42. Timeout on the court with 11:35 left in the second. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
When a pro like you takes on a job, you need reliable brands to get it done right. Lowe's gets it. That's why we stock the brands you count on every day, like Metabo HPT and Valspar. And we even help you save. Stop in today and get a Metabo HPT multi-volt brushless cordless hammer drill and impact driver combo kit for $200 less, now just $199. And for your next paint job, save $10 on 5-gallon pails of Valspar Pro Wall and Ceiling Primer, now $39.98. For big brands at big savings. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid for 4/1 U.S. only.
The Capital One Quicksilver Card Show.
Cut! The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple. No need for a whole song and dance. Don't be sad. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. That's the spirit. The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple, unlimited 1.5% cash back. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One Bank, USA, N.A.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their #1 priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the #1 employer on the 2020 Military Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
He learned to pitch in your backyard. Now his team's coming over to celebrate their high school championship. So you need to patch those bare spots fast. Pennington One Step Complete has a revolutionary formula that repairs bare spots in only 2 weeks or less. Pennington's been trusted since 1945, and now it works even faster. One Step Complete from Pennington. Honest green. Get your lawn ready for any occasion. Head to your local retailer to pick up One Step Complete.
Right here, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for great games in tournament history.
.35 left second half. Kansas 43, Memphis 42 with Bill Raftery and John Thompson. I'm Kevin Kugler. A terrific basketball game with Kansas up by just one.
Before we begin, did you say something nice about the officials? Was that you?
I must have misspoken. Yeah, very definitely. So I think these guys are very
you're
good.
right. They have been solid.
And a lot better than no calls, I think, are good. And that's smart. That's great officiating.
A little boxing one right here, I think, John.
And the ball knocked free, and Douglas Roberts loses it out of bounds. It's going to belong to Kansas. The defense thwarting the Memphis attack off the timeout.
John mentioned this the other night. He caught it for Roy Williams. When Carolina came back out of a timeout, they ran a trap. Anything unusual, even as good as teams are, it throws them off a little bit.
Well, particularly because you know they have offensive strategies based on what they saw last. And that's the beauty of what Bill just did.
Chalmers grabs it, puts it on the right-hand side to Collins, who weaves it up top to Robinson. Kansas with the ball in a one-point lead. Chalmers to the free throw line, backs up, fires the jumper, and he hits it. Chalmers gives Kansas the 45-42 lead.
And that's their weave offense. They get a little closer with each handoff, and that time solo to open jumper.
Rose to Douglas Roberts. Memphis down 3 again.
And they're playing Roberts man-to-man. Everybody's in a box and one now.
Rose barking out his play near the timeline. The freshman point guard.
And this is where Rose should be able to dribble, drive, and he can get between defenders.
Going to try on the left side, 10 to shoot. Rose driving, kicks it out to Douglas Roberts, now to Anderson, back to Rose on the left baseline. He'll take it all the way to the rack, and he lays it in. Rose brings Memphis within one.
A facial.
And you call that. You're absolutely right. Rose has got to get more aggressive now. I think he's been too passive as far as his wanting to take the shot.
7 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds for Rose tonight. Robinson, he'll drive on Douglas Roberts, dumps it off to Jackson. Jackson banging into Dorsey. Dorsey goes down like a skyscraper, no call. And Collins will back it out with 15 to shoot. Collins dribbling through defenders, dumps it to Sasha Khan. He wasn't ready for it. He'll have to back it out with 8 on the shot clock, under 10 minutes to play. 5 to shoot. Chalmers to Collins at the top, guarded 3. No good. Rebound. Dorsey has it for Memphis.
He is a man on the tin.
Only his 3rd rebound after 15 on Saturday night against UCLA. Foul trouble hindering him early.
Still the box and one.
Rose eyeing that defense and looking over to the bench as John Calipari shouts out instructions. Anderson with 17 to shoot. Bounces it to Dozier at the free throw line, and Dozier with a foul on the inside. Before he was able to drive to the basket, Sasha Khan got him on the arm. And so the inbound coming left of the standard for Memphis. Rush and Arthur back into the lineup for Kansas.
Now let's see if they're back in man-to-man with the subs.
Dorsey.
Still a box.
Ball knocked free. Steal by Chalmers. Ahead to Rush. Rush now on the right wing. Matched up with Dorsey. That's a mismatch. He'll drive it all the way to the basket, and he lays it in. 3-point lead again for Kansas.
Oh, he was salivating. Great call, Kevin. A little blow-by with a crossover against the big guy.
Transition defense is now very loose as far as Memphis is concerned. They got to stop them.
Anderson, left side, 47-44 Kansas. Rose backs it out again. The crowd getting into it now for the Kansas Jayhawks. They're enjoying a 3-point lead. Rose to Dozier with 10 on the shot clock. Memphis having a terrible time getting their offense going. Here's Rose, dumps to Dozier in the paint. His shot is good, and he's fouled. Somehow he muscled it up right in the face of Sasha Khan.
And Khan stepping up a little bit late. When you go against this box and one, you're going to get plenty of open areas to cut in, present yourself. Real smart play by Dozier.
Particularly if the big guys start to read where the openings are. They can't just stand there. A lot of times the man that is being guarded man-to-man is the best screener sometimes too, because if he goes and sets the screen and then takes off, he's going to be open.
Dozier with 9 points and 6 rebounds, misses the free throw. It'll stay a 1-point game, 47-46. Memphis, 4 of 8 at the free throw line. Collins over to Chalmers, back to Collins on the right wing.
And they handle the lob. They set it up.
Kahn posting against Taggart. Left-handed hook is no good. Rebound to Robert Dozier. And Memphis now will bring it up with a chance to regain the lead again.
This seems to be Kansas' pace, Billy, more than it does the pace of Memphis.
And the boxing one's confusing them a little bit.
Douglas Roberts back up to Rose. He fakes the three. Right side to Anderson. Back to Rose. Rose will fire the three this time, and he hits it. Memphis 49, Kansas 47 with 8:08 to go and a timeout taken by KU.
And the top of the key is wide open in that box of one, either for the jumper or the penetration. And Rose, who better to knock it down from deep?
Timeout on the court with the score, Memphis 49, Kansas 47. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
The Capital One Quicksilver Card Show.
Cut! The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple. No need for a whole song and dance. Don't be sad. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. That's the spirit. The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple, unlimited 1.5% cash back. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One Bank, USA, N.A.
From small updates to big projects, Lowe's has what you need and deals to help you save. Step up your flooring with 10% off Pergo laminate when you also purchase Pergo Gold underlayment. And see your home in a whole new light by shopping the latest decorative lighting styles. Don't want to install it yourself? No problem, because now you can get up to $70 off lighting installation. Whatever's on your to-do list today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 4/8 U.S. only.
Ryan Radke back with you in our Westwood One studios in New York as we continue to rebroadcast some of the greatest games in NCAA tournament history. Today we've got the classic that was the 2008 National Championship between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Memphis Tigers. Before the break, Bill Self in Kansas called timeout, trying to cool the momentum of Memphis. The Tigers on a 9-4 run to jump back out to a 2-point lead. After the teams came out of that break, they quickly played 16 seconds of action with no change in the score before a media timeout was called. Once again, here's Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, John Thompson, and sideline reporter Jim Gray.
7:52 to go, 49-47 Memphis. Final 8 minutes, what do you need to see from these teams?
Well, I remember Bill Self telling me after playing Davidson, he went into a triangle in two, and now he's in a boxing one. He tended to have thought that he stayed there a little too long, and Davidson got some open shots. Those defenses are good, but teams have a tendency to make an adjustment. They're good surprise defenses. So, Bill, it'll be interesting to see how long he stays in it.
I think you're right, too, John. The lineup he has now, a little more aggressive defensively. I think they'll go man. They've not been able to get some inside baskets now. They have to return to that.
Chalmers lobs it in as the time was winding down. He had to get it in and got it to Kahn. And now back to Chalmers as he sets it for Arthur in the right block. Turns to the paint and has the ball taken out of his hands by Antonio Anderson of Memphis. Here comes Rose up the middle of the court. Rose stops in the lane and hits the jumper. Memphis with the 4-point lead.
Off the turnover, they went inside. Arthur didn't make a good decision in traffic, and that is a big mistake. 13 turnovers already.
Chalmers on the left wing, around a Kahn screen. Anderson chases through it. Now here's Rush on the left side. Rush lobs it to Kahn against Taggart. Kahn will throw it back out, and it's tipped out of bounds by Chris Douglas Roberts. And here comes Dorsey back into the game for the Memphis Tigers, and he's fired up. Taggart will sit down. Back in is Darnell Jackson as well, and the Memphis fans now rise as Dorsey urges them on.
Well, Memphis seems to be getting a little bit more pep to their step defensively now, as opposed to just being passive.
There's Chalmers weaving around at the top off the inbound. To the right side, Collins gets around a screen, fires the three. No good. Rebound knocked out of bounds by Arthur. It'll go to Memphis with a 4-point lead and 7:02 to play.
And no organization right now. They are struggling on the offense, as you alluded to, John. There's no real definite movement. They're settling for the deep shot. Collins getting the rest because of that. And it looks like they're straight up man.
And you notice that pat that was given by the coach. There was a little feeling to it. Bad shot.
Kansas really struggling from the outside now. 1 of 9 from 3 after the miss. Anderson gives to Rose on the baseline. Robinson does a nice job to push him back, and he'll throw it back up top to Douglas Roberts. Here's Anderson again with 15 to shoot on the left wing. Chalmers Guarding him, Rose now with the ball, facing Robinson on the left side. He'll drive into the paint, fadeaway jumper off the glass, no good. Rebound tapped out to Russell Robinson of Kansas, and the Jayhawks down 4 will head the other direction. Now to Rush in the right corner. Rush curls to the free throw line, back out to Arthur. Chalmers now on the left wing. Rush against Douglas Roberts, and a foul is called. Chris Douglas Roberts with his third as he reaches in on the perimeter.
And it wasn't necessary. The foul wasn't necessary. All he had to do is move. He had a great defense behind him. The support was there. And Kansas, as you've indicated, Kevin, have not made outside shots. So why foul him now? Make him prove that he can get through.
Douglas Roberts will sit down. Kemp comes in to give him a breather. Takes a big scorer off the floor for the moment. Robinson between the circles, 6:15 to go. Kansas down 51-47. Robinson against Rose. Ball knocked away. Kemp right off the bench gets the steal. Kemp with Dozier out in front. Lobs the alley-oop, but he throws it too tall, and it goes out of bounds back to Kansas. He had it open.
He should have given it up a half hour before. Wide open in the middle of the floor. He could have had lunch. Oh, my goodness. Waited on tables. What else?
And that's the one thing about playing fast. You've got to think fast also. You can't just throw a ball up there.
Robinson will walk it up. Kansas dodges a big bullet on that last trip. Here's Chalmers. Blows right past Kemp. All the way to the hole. Misses the shot. Partially changed by Dozier. And here comes Rose the other way for Memphis. Rose will stop at the top. Let his team get down. And he finds Kemp on the right side. They'll set the offense.
And Kemp can catch and shoot and can put it on the deck.
And I found that very interesting how Rose pulled back on that. That was a missed basket, and they might have had good numbers.
Kemp bodied up top by Arthur with 15 to shoot. He gives it to Anderson against Rush. Anderson looking at Rush all the way. Here's Kemp again. And back he goes to Rose. Shot clock at 5. Rose around a Dorsey screen with 3 to shoot. Fires the 3. Does not connect. Long rebound in the corner, and Dozier tracks it down. Gives to Rose. He drives it to the basket. Shot is good, and he's fouled. He hung in the air for what seemed like forever. Gets the bucket to fall, and he's going to the line looking for his 8th straight point. He scored the last 7.
And the hustle play that we alluded to that wasn't apparently taken care of in the first half. Now they're stepping up the game. Dozier with the hustle, and then the give up.
And that was the kind of baskets that we saw Rose make against UCLA. Going with power and quickness to the goal.
53-47 Memphis. 5:10 to play in the second half. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
When you go to the mechanic in here...
Pass me the torque. Nope, let me have the flamethrower.
That sounds wrong. You know what else sounds wrong? When you hear about the interest you're earning on your savings with the largest banks. But with the Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account, you could earn much more interest. And hear this. Open a Marcus by Goldman Sachs online savings account in minutes at marcus.com. You can money.
Comparison made to the 3 largest U.S. banks measured by total deposits. Rates as of February 4th, 2020 and may vary by state. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC.
There's an app to save on flights, an app to rent a bike, and an app to help you save for driving safely. The Allstate app gives you real-time driving feedback with DriveWise, giving you the power to lower your insurance cost. In fact, safe drivers can save 40% or more. Connect and save with DriveWise. You're in good hands.
Download the Allstate app today. Savings may vary by state and driving behaviors. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Use of Allstate Mobile with activation of DriveWise required. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Trade Pros. Ferguson is committed to making business with us the easiest part of your day. Ferguson.com is designed to help run your business from the office to the job site by making your day-to-day activities easier with 24/7 account access, unmatched online inventory, and on-the-go account management. And with our Pro Plus customer loyalty program, you can earn points with every online purchase, redeemable for merchandise, event tickets, trips, and more. Sign up today at Ferguson.com.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. Over 95% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2019 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Tigers fans are fired up. The story of the second half for Memphis, the awakening of Derrick Rose.
Well, and that's very significant, particularly because of the mixing of the defenses of Kansas. Rose is the guy with the ball, and he had to be more aggressive. And particularly for a young guy to sense that and do it, that's very impressive.
He hits the free throw. Memphis with their biggest lead at 7, 54-47. 5 minutes to play. Kansas with the ball. They led by 5 at halftime. Here's Collins to the free throw line. Driving past Rose all the way to the basket, and Collins banks it in.
He is so tough, that kid. You're wondering where they're going to get some offense. He puts it on his shoulders. Great dribble movement and the power for the kiss.
And he's not afraid. That's the thing. When it gets to a lull in Kansas offense, he goes aggressive.
54-49, Memphis by 5 with the ball, 4:35 to go.
And Rose trying to post up. I'd rather him outside right now. He's so tough. There he goes.
Douglas Roberts with 13 to shoot, gets it to Rose, who pops up top against Collins, one-on-one. Rose to Dozier. Dozier will put it on the floor, dribble penetrate, now kicks out to Douglas Roberts, tries to enter it to Dozier in the post, and it's tipped out by Arthur. 3 to shoot for Memphis. They'll inbound left of the basket.
Billy, I think you're right. I'd love to see Rose with the ball a lot more, too, because I think that opens up Arthur. Rose commands so much attention.
Douglas Roberts to inbound with 3 to shoot. Gets it to Rose off a screen. 2 to shoot. Guarded shot. Banks it off the glass and in. Rose with a prayer. And he uses the window to get it answered. And Memphis leads 57-49.
Oh, the kiss hurt on Beale Street.
Collins with 4 to play in the national championship. Here's Chalmers. Backs it out again.
Much better defense by Memphis now, closing off the middle.
Rush in the corner to Collins, fakes the 3. He'll drive down the baseline, and he's fouled. Sharon Collins trying to take it on his shoulders to bring Kansas back with the aggressive drive.
Well, and early in the game, Billy and I kept talking about how Kansas was going inside from penetration and driving. Memphis and John Cal has closed that down now. Kansas is now having trouble shooting over the top, Billy.
Absolutely, and the difficulty offensively, and then the takeover by Rose.
15 second-half points for Derrick Rose. Memphis 57, Kansas 49, and a timeout on the floor with 3:49 to play. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
Nerds! NerdWallet presents Money Questions, the lightning round. Here we go, Carol. How can people compare the best credit cards?
Turn to the nerds.
Should you pay off debt or save for retirement?
Turn to the nerds.
One more. Should I listen to my father-in-law's advice on mortgage lenders?
Turn to the nerds.
You win!
Woo!
Confetti is literally falling from the sky.
I'm going to put my winnings in a 2-year CD.
That would be prudent, Carol.
From helpful tools to expert guidance, for all your money questions, turn to the nerds at nerdwallet.com. NMLS ID number 1617539.
She used to play hide and seek in your backyard. Now she's getting married in it. So when you see a bare spot, you need something that patches it fast. Pennington One Step Complete has a revolutionary formula that repairs bare spots in only 2 weeks or less. Pennington has been trusted since 1945, and now it works even faster. One Step Complete from Pennington. Honest green. Get your lawn ready for any occasion. Head to your local retailer to pick up One Step Complete.
Time to check in once again with our courtside reporter, Jim Graves.
All right, Kevin, Memphis has this 8-point lead. I spoke to Bill Self before the game. He did not want to employ the hack-a-shack technique because of Memphis's poor free throw shooting throughout the season. Now, the last 3 games, they've been very, very good. John Calipari says we will make them when they count, much like Shaq has said. However, in this game, they're 63%. So John and Raph, I would look here in a few minutes. If this lead sustains itself for another minute or so, he's going to start putting Memphis on the line as much as he doesn't like the technique and strategy. Kevin?
Thank you, Jim. And that sounds like a pretty good plan at this point, because if you get a guy like Anderson or Dozier or Dorsey to the line, you could end up making up some points.
Well, and that certainly is an option right now, but I would be a lot more concerned about defensively how we're playing in terms of stopping Rose, because Rose is picking up momentum right now. And when he does that, so much attention is drawn to him that other free baskets are there.
And John mentioned about passive play by Rose. 3 points in the first 27, 50, 28 minutes, 15, unbelievable, 15 of the last 17, he stepped up and made. I mean, that's just a miraculous shot. They did change the three-pointer. His foot was inside the line as he elevated, so it is 56-49.
So they've taken a point away from Memphis. The officials reviewing it during the timeout. 56-49 Memphis over Kansas. And Chalmers will inbound to Arthur. Back it goes to Sharon Collins. Kansas looking for some offense here. Collins has been the guy that's provided it. He sets up on the right-hand side, gives it to Rush. Rush on the drive to the basket, left it short, had a great look, but then a foul inside on the attempt at the rebound, and it's going to be against the Memphis Tigers, and I believe on Dorsey, and that's his fourth if it is Dorsey.
Boy, that's one of those pull the strings. So you couldn't get a better look from Rush. Nice penetration. And they have been struggling to find some offense, and that does change things. They're not going to be as physical coming down the stretch with Dorsey out.
Well, and it is one of the first times also that Kansas has returned going back to the glass. That was the thing that got them ahead, is punching it in and penetrating.
Darrell Arthur to the line for the first time tonight. He has 12.7 rebounds, and he hits the first. That was team foul number 7 on Memphis. Kansas still with a foul to give in this second half. It's 56-50 Memphis, and Arthur quietly putting together a very good night with 13 points and 7 rebounds. Second free throw by Arthur, good. And it's a 5-point game, 56-51. Memphis with a 5-point lead. The Memphis fans stand, the Kansas fans stand. The people that are sitting are going to feel lonely soon because everybody's rising here in the Alamo Dome.
It looks like a straight-up zone, a flat 3-2. They're going to force him to take a deep jumper. It's big for Kansas to rebound.
Anderson to Chris Douglas Roberts, and now back to Rose. Rose with a 5-point Memphis lead. Hands it back to Dozier, 10 to shoot. This is where Rose has been taking over in the second half. 6 to shoot. Here's Anderson, back to Rose, left wing, 3. That one pinballs out, no good, but Dozier, the offensive rebound, gets it back to Rose, who saves it inbounds to Anderson.
Second big play by
exactly,
Dozier.
Those are those floor balls that we're talking about.
Let's see John getting excited over there, the big man making the play.
Well, and getting loose balls, and that's what they weren't doing early in the game.
18 on the shot clock. Anderson to Dozier in the paint, shovels it to Taggart. Taggart, the leaner, off the glass, he got it. And it's 58-51 Memphis. Here comes Kansas the other way quickly. Collins trying to attack before they can get organized. His shot is blocked as he takes it to the rack. Dozier gets the block, and Memphis has the ball and a 7-point lead.
He's looking to foul. Bill Self is following what you suggested, or Jim Gray mentioned.
And instead, the pass is tipped. Rose gets it to Anderson, and now back to Chris Douglas Roberts. They haven't been able to foul until now. Collins fouls with 2:13 to go, and he fouls Derrick Rose, and Rose 2 for 2 today. And in the tournament, Derrick Rose is 33 of 42 at the line.
Because your lead guard is a guy you want to make free throws. That's very important because they're not over the limit yet. That's the other reason they're giving them up.
Well, and also, that's the guy that has control of the ball. If you're going to play hack and shack, obviously what Memphis is going to do is try to get the ball to the hands of the guys that are best free throw. But pressure comes on you now when you're coming down the stretch and making free throws.
Anderson into Dozier, and now the foul comes, and that's not a bad guy to foul if you're Brandon Rush, who commits the personal. Dozier, 68% at the line. He'll shoot the 1-and-1. He's 10 of 16. Here in the tournament. Memphis started perfect at the line, 4 of 4. Since that time, 1 for 4.
You know what's bad about hack and shack is that you know they're doing it. And that's the thing, and that's the thing that gets to your mind right away. Even some good teams will have trouble with it. Be very interesting to see how Memphis responds to this.
The big exhale by Dozier as he gets the ball. The front end of the 1-and-1 is good. Nothing but net. Dozier with one more. And it's perfect for Robert Dozier.
Big time pressure.
Yeah, so now you've got to score quickly. There's got to be a good back screen, a lock low, or off the bounce.
Memphis by 9, 60-51. Chalmers bumped up top by Dozier. Chalmers to Collins on the right side. Back it goes to Chalmers. Chalmers throws it off to Arthur. Arthur a long 2 on the right side, and he hits it. Darrell Arthur with a big shot, and a timeout taken by Kansas with 1:54 to go. And Memphis with a timeout on the court and a 60-53 lead. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
From small updates to big projects, Lowe's has what you need and deals to help you save. Step up your flooring with 10% off Pergo laminate when you also purchase Pergo Gold underlayment. And see your home in a whole new light by shopping the latest decorative lighting styles. Don't want to install it yourself? No problem, because now you can get up to $70 off lighting installation. Whatever's on your to-do list today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 4/8 U.S. only.
The Capital One Quicksilver Card Show.
Cut! The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple. No need for a whole song and dance. Don't be sad. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. That's the spirit. The Capital One Quicksilver Card is simple, unlimited 1.5% cash back. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Capital One Bank, USA, N.A.
1:54 remaining in the national championship game in San Antonio. Memphis 60, Kansas 53. Alongside John Thompson, Bill Raftery, Jim Gray. I'm Kevin Kugler. This has been everything we wanted, a 1-versus-1 in the national championship game.
And now, if I'm John Calipari, I want two guys to handle the ball. Chris Douglas-Roberts and the ability of Rose. I love this kid's confidence. He wants to get fouled, and I think he'll make them.
Well, and definitely you have to put the ball in the hands of the guys that you think have the most confidence right now. But I think it's just as important is not to make stupid fouls defensively.
Collins steals the inbound. Love hands it over to Chalmers. Back in the corner, Collins for three. He hits it. Kansas within 4 at 60-56. Woo!
Yeah, that's the danger of the three-point shot.
Anderson, a foul before the inbound comes against Kansas.
Collins with that little reach in, not a bad play. Boy, you've got to be ready, on that inbounds pass. You've got to step to the ball and pass it at the correct time.
And the inbounder is one of the most significant individuals in basketball, particularly in late game situations. You've got to have a guy who has technique and judgment.
1-1 for Chris Douglas-Roberts, the 8th team foul on Kansas. They gave that one to Robinson, his third.
Oh, okay.
He sits down for the moment. Douglas-Roberts at the line, 71% on the year. Hits the first. And when they've needed him in the clutch in the tournament, they've been hitting those free throws.
John Calipari said that. He believes in his kids because I think it's a way of giving them confidence as well.
Well, I often wondered whether he really believed it when he was saying it at times, to tell you the truth. But Memphis's defense is going to be just as important as their offense right now. They don't want to make stupid fouls, but they want Kansas to use as much clock. Don't want Kansas to get open, easy threes or easy layups.
Both free throws good, 62-56 Memphis. Collins will bring it up. Arthur trying to pick Rose off. He couldn't get it done. Collins on the right wing gives to Chalmers. Almost walked him.
Yeah, sure
almost.
Chalmers on the outside, and Dorsey commits the foul, and he's gone. Joey Dorsey fouls out of the ballgame, and John Calipari with his head in his hands after the 5th foul by his big man.
And he is right. It stops the clock, gives him a chance to score. All bad things. And Dorsey, it's way on the wing there. He doesn't have to be there. Run away.
And you're losing Dorsey's shot blocking ability in late crucial situations. And that's important. But again, their defense, as I said earlier, is going to be just as important as Memphis's offense is right now. You can't do that. I mean, that's just a dumb thing to do, to go way out there and foul somebody like that.
It may be a blessing, though, because he won't get fouled.
62-56. And lost in the hubbub of Dorsey fouling out is the fact that Mario Chalmers, one of the best free throw shooters on this Jayhawk team, is headed to the line, a 73% shooter. He's 2 for 2 tonight with 11 points on the game.
And he's got pressure on himself right now, too.
Front end of the 1-and-1 is good. He'll get the bonus. Each team with 8 fouls in this second half. Kansas with just 1 timeout left. Memphis with plenty. They have 3.
You know, we always talk about playing smart, but this is the part of the game when you're not reacting, you're thinking now.
Right. And being ready on your inbounds. That's what Memphis has to do.
It's the second. Rose pressured on the inbound. Anderson breaks the pressure to Douglas-Roberts. 1:18 to go. Chris Douglas-Roberts weaving in the middle of the court, and he's fouled. The foul on Chalmers, and that'll get Bill Self's ire up. He was unhappy with that one out on the perimeter.
I think what he wanted was Anderson to be fouled earlier. That's what happened, and they didn't anticipate and react.
And instead of sending a 58% free throw shooter to the line at Anderson, you're going to send Chris Douglas-Roberts, who's been hitting everything at the stripe.
You know, if Memphis is able to win this ball game, they've defied all odds, and particularly if they do it making free throws.
Chris Douglas-Roberts, the front end of the 1-and-1. No good. Arthur with the rebound for Kansas. So the strategy pays off for the moment for KU, down 4 with the ball. Collins will bring it up. Stops on the right wing. 1:05 to play. Collins bounces to Arthur in the block against Taggart. Turnaround fadeaway, rolls home, and Kansas is within 2, 62-60. And now Bill Self says, don't foul, back off.
One solid trip of D is what they're thinking.
Don't foul, stop. You need a stop, is what they're saying.
The rebounding is big, both offense and defense.
Rose nearly lost it. Anderson able to grab it near the timeline, and he'll take a timeout with 44 seconds to go. 19 on the shot clock. What is John Calipari looking for here?
Get the ball in Rose's hand, man. It's no mystery. Just give Rose the ball, get the heck out the way, and let's see what's going to happen here.
You know what they haven't done lately is Chris Douglas Roberts on the box. You know, they like to put the two of them on the same side, and they dribble exchange. One can turn the corner, or the other, in Roberts' case, can slip into the box area where he is very tough. He's got that floater shot. And you mentioned that Dorsey's not in there. They lack that strength on the glass now. He's a key guy, so Taggart has to be very alert.
Well, and what you said in terms of Douglas Roberts and Rose, you definitely want them involved in the action. The other three guys are definitely second options. They've got to be great weak side rebounders. They got to slip into the window if the defense comes over to help them. The one thing we do know is that Bill Self knows that they're going to give the ball. They're going to give the ball to Rose, or they're going to give the ball to Douglas Roberts. It's no mysteries now.
And the one guy that's been terrific on anything on the glass is Dozier. He has reacted very well. He's an excellent post-up guy. He's got good footsteps, and he cuts well, so he may make himself available as the shot clock winds down.
17 apiece for Douglas Roberts and Rose, 11 for Dozier to pace Memphis. Arthur with 18, Chalmers with 13. They'll stack them up near the timeline, and the inbound goes into the backcourt to Rose with 17 to shoot and 40 seconds to play. Rose, everybody down on the baseline. Rose all alone at the top. He'll drive with 9 to shoot. Rose forces up a tough shot, ball knocked out of bounds, tipped out by Kansas, and it will be Memphis ball with 7 to shoot. Anderson will inbound with 7 to shoot, 31.3 to go. Douglas Roberts with 5, with 4. The leaner, partially blocked by Rush. Ball tipped out to Collins, and now Kansas with numbers. It's 3-on-2. Collins driving all the way to the basket. Ball knocked out of his hands. He wanted a foul. Here comes Anderson to Douglas Roberts, and he is fouled with 16.8 seconds to go, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
And Collins out of control. He went to the well once too often. He had numbers. All he had to do was bring it back out. He could have given it up and set something up. Now, again, the free throws. Roberts, excellent free throw shooter by their standards.
4 of 5 tonight at the line. In the tournament, over 80% at the stripe. 16.8 to go. Memphis 62, Kansas 60. He misses the first.
No confidence. You can see the body right here, the vibes. He's got to relax, go through the drill in your mind, bend the legs, follow through.
And this is where the thinking comes in right now. That hole gets much smaller.
He's thinking again. Free throw number 2 is no good. Rebound, Dozier. Memphis gets it back. Anderson to Rose. Rose is fouled with 10.8 seconds to go. And Douglas Roberts just spikes the ball.
He's mad at himself because he missed the free throws. And I like this bit of officiating. It was not showing them up whatsoever. It could have been a mess and cost these kids a hard-earned win if, in fact, they're able to.
Well, and that's the great thing about having great officials in this game. I mean, common sense takes over everything.
Absolutely.
When you're in this.
Bill Self will use his final timeout with 10.8 seconds to go. Rose on his way to the line to shoot 2 free throws. He is 2 for 2 there tonight. Dozier with the biggest rebound of his career, his 10th tonight, saves this possession from Memphis after Douglas Roberts misses 2 huge free throws.
And John is talking about floor balls. Well, those are part of those. Anything loose that goes up for grab. He's made 3 big-time saves for his team, John. He's like a slithery kid, but he knows the game. He's got an ability to read where the ball's coming off the rim.
Well, and I remember Jim Gray saying that one of the things that Coach Cal told him is that we're being out-hustled. Well, obviously they listened to the message, because that's exactly what we were saying, that in the first half, Kansas was beating them to everything. Now these guys are getting loose balls out here, and I know Self must feel terrible because he's hack-a-shack work, and then Dozier comes up with the rebound. That makes you sick as a coach.
Let's look ahead a little bit. 10.8 seconds to go. Kansas with no timeouts. It's going to be a frantic 11 seconds for KU.
Well, these kids have been through it with their conference and their intersectional play, so they know exactly what they have to do. If both shots are made, you only need 2. So you push it, score, and then you get ready to foul again. And these kids can get it up in 3 seconds, either with the dribble or the pass.
Rose going to the line for Memphis, and that's the guy John Calipari wants at the stripe. With the national championship on the line, he's hit 13 straight free throws. He is by far their hottest free throw shooter and the young man that's carried them throughout this second half.
Sure, and to reiterate, the officials showed great control and patience. That was big on the bouncing of the ball by Roberts in frustration.
The irony of this whole thing is it's come down to free throws, and that was the topic of discussion about Memphis.
And if they hit them, they'll be national champs. Rose, first one. Pinball's off, no good. And it's going to be a one-possession game regardless of what he does here.
I see, you know now, if you're Kansas, what we're going to run to get a 3 if he makes this one.
Here's Rose one more time. Standing at the line. Fires the second. That one is good. And it's 63-60. Memphis. Kansas ball. 10 seconds. 9. Collins moves it up floor. 6.
Intentional foul.
5. Chalmers. 4-3 and the tie. He got it. He got it. 2.1 to play. Dozier off the inbound. The half-court heave. It is no good. And we're going to overtime. We're going to overtime as Chalmers hits the gigantic 3 to tie it at 63.
Oh, I did this.
Did you hear the question I asked Billy? Billy, do you intentional foul?
Yes.
And he said, I would.
Yep.
And they should have.
Yeah.
How about that? Squared. Goodness. Big time delivery. Wow. Was this worth the weekend?
No question. 1997. It's been 11 years since we had an overtime game in the championship. That was Kentucky and Arizona. Arizona won at 84-79 in OT, and we're back with extra basketball with a national title on the line.
You know, you talk about drills in your preseason and you work on dribble moves. In the backcourt, Collins made a magnificent crossover to get the ball up the floor. Just a little thing that gets lost, John, but if he can't handle that, they never get in position for that handoff and the ultimate delivery by Chalmers.
Well, and one of the biggest problems that Memphis has right now is that big fella sitting over there on the bench is fouled out of the ball game.
Absolutely.
Now you got to play 5 minutes without him, and that's going to be a problem.
The foul situation the rest of the way. Nobody else in danger yet. Arthur Robinson, Collins, Chalmers, all with 3 for Kansas. For Memphis, you've got Douglas Roberts with 3, and that's it. Everybody else with 2, 1 or none.
You know, the mindset now of Memphis is not a positive one. They've lost confidence in one another's ability to either make a play or make a free throw. And that's really dangerous as you extend the game. And now you're rejuvenated if you happen to be Kansas.
Before we start the extra frame, let's check in once more with Jim Gray.
Well, Kevin, there's also some concern over in the Memphis huddle. Derrick Rose on that last play of the game injured his left calf to some extent. Could be a cramp, could be a pull. He has been worked on by the training staff. He limped off after the three-pointer was made, so we'll keep a close eye on him as he tries to continue here in the game. Kevin?
Well, Jim, and that you remember we told you at the beginning of the broadcast that Derrick Rose had not participated in the media availability yesterday with a stomach problem. Is he dehydrated, and is it starting to show up here? Arthur and Dozier tip it up, and overtime begins. Memphis with the ball.
Nice save by Anderson to slap it back to Rose.
And Memphis has to regain its psychological edge. As Billy said, Kansas feels better about themselves right now after coming back.
Here's Rose to Douglas Roberts at the free throw line. Douglas Roberts, a little shimmy shake to try to get free, nothing there. Here's Rose driving from the right side, backs it out to Douglas Roberts against Rush. Douglas Roberts, pocket pick by Collins with the steal. 3-on-2 for Kansas, dumps it to Rush. Rush layup good. Kansas by 2, 65-63.
Collins solid with the give up, and Rush with the dipsy-do to get rid of the defenders.
And John Calipari is going to say timeout with 4:21 to go in overtime. Kansas grabs the 2-point lead. They strike first, 65-63 in the national title game. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. Over 95% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2019 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Ryan Radke back in our Westwood One studios in New York. Today is an encore presentation of the 2008 National Championship between Kansas and Memphis. And it's time for our Fact of the Game, sponsored by Capital One Bank. Memphis finished the regular season ranked 339th out of 341 Division I teams in foul shooting at just 59%. And as we heard at the end of regulation, if they would have been able to knock a few down, this game would already be over, and they would have won their first national championship. That's the Capital One Fact of the Game. Here's another fact. Why settle for average? With Capital One, you can open an account with a savings rate 5 times the national average. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet? Capital One N.A., member FDIC. Resetting the scene for you at the moment, a Brandon Rush layup has just put the Jayhawks on top, 65-63. Tigers coach John Calipari has called a quick timeout just 39 seconds into overtime as he desperately tries to somehow stop this Kansas momentum, which is carried over from the end of regulation. So let's get you back out to the Alamo Dome now. Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, John Thompson, and sideline reporter Jim Gray for the conclusion of this classic.
In the 2008 NCAA tournament, the motto will be saving the best for last. There were a lot of games this year that weren't very good through the tournament, a lot of wide margins, a lot of blowouts. It's not the case in San Antonio tonight. Kansas in overtime with a 65-63 2-point lead, 4:21 left in OT.
Well, and the interesting thing about that last play is that dumb one, shame on you, shame on me, or whatever they say. Collins learned from his last mistakes because he went down in the possession before and forced the shot. This time he gave the shot up, so that's a sign of a smart player.
And he is fearless, too. I mean, the sleight of hands, you mentioned in the regulation game, how quick guys are with their hands. That steal and run out, just sensational.
And remember earlier when they overturned a Derrick Rose shot, they went to the replay. It was close. They turned a 3 into a 2.
Great point.
65-63. If that stayed a 3, the game would be over.
And by the way, Jim Nance is the one that caught it and told the officials.
Dozier on the drive, backs it off the glass. That's no good. Rebound saved for Kansas by Darnell Jackson. And Collins will walk it up. Collins with Rose in his face. Collins down low to Arthur. Ball knocked free. Taggart diving for it out of bounds. And it'll stay with Kansas. Good attempt by Sean Taggart, just couldn't keep it in play.
They're quicker in the front line without Dorsey. As much as you'd like him defensively, they're long and lanky. They can deny the ball with Dozier as well as Taggart.
They might match up better with the Kansas bigs with those two on the floor. Mop things up.
Look at the look you got.
I got the bad look.
John likes the beef.
Like I said, Joey Dorsey being on the bench is the worst possible thing that could happen to Memphis.
John's going, where's the beef?
Let's go vote on it. Let's go ask Coach Cal. Does he want him over there sitting with him?
He's not looking to dine either.
Collins will back it out off the inbound. 3:50 to go in the overtime. Kansas 65, Memphis 63. Collins weaves at the top with 12 to shoot. Gives to Chalmers. Cuts into the paint. The alley-oop to Darrell Arthur.
And a well-executed play, turning the corner with the confidence. And look, Chalmers with a great curl to get the pass and then make the entry.
67-63, Kansas by 4. Douglas Roberts on the left wing. Back it goes to Rose. Rose almost slips down as he drives. Back out it goes to Douglas Roberts. 18 to shoot. Memphis down 4. Here's Anderson. Left wing 3. That's well off the mark. No good. And the rebound to Kansas. Darnell Jackson grabs it again.
Well, see, and this is what Kansas is much better at because they're accustomed to slowing the pace down, running their half-court stuff down.
Chalmers to Rush. 3 minutes to play. Kansas by 4. Collins with 15 to shoot. Collins around a high screen from Jackson with 8 to shoot. Feeds Arthur right block. 6 on the shot clock. Chalmers with 5 to shoot. Dumps it down to Arthur. Arthur shovels it to Jackson. Lays it up over the front rim. Kansas 69, Memphis 63 with 2:33 to go.
The teamwork extraordinary. Running to the rim, bailing out with a cut. Just sensational passing.
2:29 in the OT, but Memphis hadn't been able to find the offense in the extra frame.
Well, what Kansas has done that nobody else all year, to my memory, other than in the little zone, has been able to trap them on any penetration. They shade over and assist. They've stopped the ability of Rose to get to the rim.
Rose with a ball and a whistle and a
Bad
hold
foul.
away from the ball against Kansas. Rush got a hold inside, and that's going to stop the clock and give Memphis a chance to get on the board of the free throw line.
Maybe not by design, I don't think. That was not a good one.
No, and not when you're trying to, you're ahead. You know what I mean? You don't want to do it. And the thing that Kansas has to do is the very thing that I said earlier about Memphis. Their defense has got to be their delay game as well as their offense. You don't want to put them on the line, even potentially to make baskets, because now you provide an opportunity for them to set up their full-court defense if they make it.
It's Chris Douglas Roberts to the line. Remember, he missed 2 badly at the end of regulation that would have sealed the deal, and he hits the first.
He just inhaled like a relief.
First point of this overtime for Memphis. It's 69-64 Kansas.
Well, it's when you shooting free throws a lot of times is very significant.
Second. Got it again. Within 4, Memphis will settle in defensively and try to get a stop.
Exactly. John's point well taken. I think they put a lot of pressure on the inbounds, but this kid Collins is so quick. Gets it.
And Collins looking up court against Rose.
His pants are falling off.
He's having more trouble with his pants than he is the defense.
He broke the string on one of those drives to the basket. 2:10 remaining in the overtime. 20 to shoot as Chalmers weaves at the top. He'll drive towards the basket, backs it out to Collins. 15 to shoot. And he'll send it near the timeline with 2 minutes to play in the overtime. Kansas 69, Memphis 65. Collins, Jackson, and now Chalmers on the left wing with 5 to shoot. Chalmers with 4 to shoot. Tries the jumper over Dozier. It's no good. Rebound will go out of bounds. It's Memphis ball. Good defensive series for the Tigers.
Championship defense right there. They really stepped up. A very important stop.
And
really
no stupid fouls, right, Billy? No stupid fouls.
Exactly.
Rose now for Memphis with 1:45 left in the overtime. Memphis down 4. Douglas Roberts to Rose for 3. No good. Rebound tapped out by Antonio Anderson. They'd have new life.
Heads up play.
Rose again between the circles. 90 seconds to go in the overtime. Chris Douglas Roberts against Rush. Kicks it into the corner. Dozier fakes the 3. He'll dump it back to Chris Douglas Roberts, who backs out for 3. That's no good. Rebound by Jackson for Kansas.
Outlet.
Long outlet to Rush. Rush trying to beat Dozier to the basket. The shot is no good. Gets his own rebound and lays it in. 71-65. Kansas by 6.
Corner jumpers lead to fast breaks if you don't convert.
Rose has the pass tipped back into his hands with 1 minute to go. Chris Douglas Roberts, a 3 on the right wing. He got it! He gets the 3, and John Calipari with a quick timeout. Memphis down 3 with 56.8 to play.
What incredible stepping up at the highest level at key times. Missed the corner jumper. Roberts gets a tougher shot, able to convert with the tray.
And the first one he missed, Billy, I thought, it bothers me when I see a kid look at the line rather than look at the basket. He stepped back. He had a lot of time. Just take the shot. But you got to give both of these teams credit for the competitiveness right now. They're making some big plays in some very serious times.
And Kevin, right now the defense has to be as good as it was the last trip. Keep everybody on the perimeter. I would look for Kansas to change it, not to weave, do the little screen downs where they got the curl, get somebody slipping to the rim a little bit, because right now they're playing the ball screens much better, Memphis.
Well, see, and one of the things that happens, Kevin, people tend to talk so much about offensive intelligence in late-game situations, but it's just as significant to have defensive intelligence in knowing when the shot clock is going down, not to make a stupid foul if you're leading, to let somebody score a basket while the clock is not moving. You have to be conscious of the shot clock defensively as much as offensively.
It's a three-point game in overtime. 56.8 seconds to go. Kansas needing a little help and a prayer at the end of regulation. A three from Mario Chalmers, trying to win their first national title in 20 years, and now they're 57 seconds away. Memphis was in this same position in regulation, and Kansas was able to rally.
And right now they've got, in a sense, 4 guards when you throw Rush into the mix. So they've got people who can really handle Chalmers and the ability to make some plays from the outside. Robinson, another guy, just terrific. Let's see how they handle getting the inbounds pass. They'll be face guarding, and Dozier's on the inbound pass or rush, trying to take away vision. Great size and length.
And Kansas has a lot of quickness in the game right now also.
Dozier fronting as he tries to tip the inbound pass. It goes into the hands of Russell Robinson of Kansas. And now Collins will send everybody down. Long pass ahead to Robinson. Dozier almost gets the steal. Robinson able to keep it. Now bounces it out to Chalmers. 45 seconds to go, and Chalmers is fouled by Chris Douglas-Roberts. That's his 4th personal. And Mario Chalmers is going to the line, a 74% foul shooter. Tonight, Chalmers a perfect 4 for 4 at the line.
Interesting that John Calipari opting to lengthen the game now with that giveaway. The difference is that these kids can really convert some free throws. Team is at 69%, and the handlers are all in the 70s.
You want to really see whether they can convert them now, though. You know, that's interesting.
First free throw, good.
Yes, they can.
As cool as Alaska. His home state, by the way.
Very nice. Chalmers with the second coming. Everybody over the double limit now. It's double bonus time for both teams the rest of the way here. Chalmers with one more.
And now Kansas has to play good defense and force them to take a lot of time. Converts the next one.
Back in is Darnell Jackson for Kansas, and Robinson will leave. Will defense for offense.
Yeah, they go bigger. Interesting. John mentioned the good handlers. Now they go with the power.
73-68 Kansas. Rose will pick up the ball near half court. Going to work quickly. Rose shovels to Chris Douglas-Roberts around a Taggart screen. CDR on the drive all the way to the rim. Layup is no good. Arthur the rebound. Ball knocked out of his hands. Taggart has it. Still loose on the floor as it's knocked out of his palms. And who's got it? Tie up. Possession arrow KU with 29.9 to go.
Well, that's the hustle play you got to come up with. That could have gone the other way back to Memphis. At least they got the jump on him. Memphis has to be ready. Harass, maybe one try at a trap and then give it.
And they had a great look that time. Douglas Roberts is right to the cup. He's been making that shot all along.
And, you know, it's interesting. Late in the game, a little more fatigue. The left hand, he just couldn't get enough oomph.
Well, and defensively, you know that Bill is telling him don't make stupid fouls. So penetration is a good strategy, particularly with the amount of time that they had left.
Rush will inbound, 29.9 to go in the overtime.
Oh, and
Collins falls and goes out of bounds. It'll belong to Memphis. He slipped right in front of John Calipari on the Memphis bench, and it stays with the Tigers now.
And that's where water happens to be frequently because of the players' perspiration, the cups.
And where you congregate to timeout.
Exactly.
Boy, is this something.
It is great.
God, every opportunity in the world to get back in it.
And now Memphis with another chance. 28.3 seconds on the clock. Down by 5. Chris Douglas-Roberts inbounding right in front of the Memphis bench. Bounces into Rose. Gotta have a little urgency here. Down by 5. Here's CDR for 3 on the left wing. Bounces off the rim. Collins the rebound for Kansas. Under 20 seconds to go. Gets it to Arthur, but a foul first.
Smart.
Collins got popped before he got rid of it. Anderson commits the foul, and Sharon Collins, who has not attempted a free throw tonight, will shoot on the other end with 12.8 to play.
And really a smart play because they were going to play keep away, get 5 or 6 seconds off the clock. A nice giveaway. I wouldn't bet against this kid nailing him, though, John. He is some tough little cookie.
And he doesn't mind putting himself at risk to be the hero or the GOAT.
They're going to review the clock to make sure that they got it stopped and started correctly. The officials are over at the scorers table here in the Alamo Dome. Check on this one.
Why is it more significant to review the clock to see whether it stopped or started late in the game and not earlier in the game.
Well, you're right. It is a great play, but a lot of people aren't complaining early in the game.
It ran off about 8 seconds. It
sure
ran off a
did.
ton. So they're going to put a lot of time back on this one. They went all the way up to 18.2 from 12.8. So somebody missed the button when he tried to stop that clock.
Well, we alluded to that Hoya clock earlier. That's what it looked like.
It's called reactionary time. Some people react fast and some people react slow. Some people have their hands in their lap. Some people have their hands on the button.
Eating a pretzel or two.
And this, this delay freezes a shooter a little bit.
Collins on the year 77%. Has not attempted one tonight. He now has, and he rattles it through. Well, that may be a good sign for the folks from Lawrence, Kansas. That was all the way out, and gravity pulled it right down.
Hit every part of the rim and everything else.
Some chips. And he is just tough. Great competitor. Boy, he had a marvelous weekend.
6-point game. Kansas with the lead in overtime. Second free throw is good. And now a 3-possession game. Rose will pick it up with 18 seconds to go. Rose will accelerate quickly for Memphis. 13 seconds. Rose for 3. That's no good. Arthur the rebound for Kansas. And Kansas, 20 years after Danny and the Miracles did it, a miracle got them here, and they are now your national champions. Your final score in San Antonio. Kansas wins the national championship 75-68 in overtime. And the streamers begin to fall from the ceiling here in the Alamo Dome as the cheerleaders, the players, the trainers, the mascot, everybody celebrates as Sharon Collins goes diving into the crowd to meet Darnell Jackson, who beat him there. And Darnell Jackson, who has had such a tragic road throughout his whole life. His uncle was murdered, his mom and his grandma injured and killed, his grandmother in a drunken driving accident. His dad, not a factor in his life, but killed by Oklahoma City police. The road has been marred with tragedy, and now Darnell Jackson and the rest of his teammates celebrate greatness and immortality. They are national champions.
How's it feel?
It feels great. It's so many mixed feelings involved in here because both of these teams played so well. I'm so happy right now for Bill Self and his team. You feel bad for John and his team. But, this is why you respect these athletes, because it's a two-sided coin, and these guys just played as hard. That game was as nice as anything you want to see.
What a treat. A special treat. All the maneuvers defensively. Extraordinary effort by both clubs.
And in the midst of the celebration and the streamers is our own Jim Gray, and let's join him now.
Mario, congratulations to you. Tell us about the shot that sent it into overtime.
Coaches said penetrating pitch. I see Sharon had fumbled it. He kind of pitched it back. I had an open look, and I just took it. And thank God it went in.
Were you surprised it went in, or did you think it was going down from the second and left?
No, I thought it was going down for the second and left. I had a good feeling about it.
What was the feeling going down in the last couple of minutes when you guys had to resort to hack-a-shack and then Memphis cooperated and missed some free throws?
We knew there was a bad free throw shooting team, so coaches told us if it get late, just try to foul the worst free throw shooters, and that's what we did.
Did you know when this went into overtime that this miracle was basically complete, that there was no way that they could overcome that momentum?
Yeah, we had a kind of feeling. We knew they was kind of tired or worn out. We tried to run them the whole game. They ran with us the whole game. And I think they just ran out of energy at the end.
What does it mean to you? You've just been named the most outstanding player, Mario.
Thank you. It's a privilege.
You told us before the game about the legacy of Danny Manning, and you wanted to create your own. Now you have.
Yeah, Coach Meadows told us all along, this could be the best team in KU history, and we bought into that, and it paid off for us tonight.
Mario, congratulations. Enjoy the celebration.
Thank you.
All right, Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, Jim. A terrific performance tonight for Mario Chalmers. 18 points, but the only 3 that mattered to Mario Chalmers and his teammates, that 3 late in regulation, the miracle 3 that sent Kansas into overtime and propelled them to a national championship.
And the interesting, we talked about the concept of whether to give the foul or not at that crucial juncture, and more people are opting for it. But in the free flow at that time, kids sometimes don't respond, or in fact, some coaches don't like to do it.
Well, it's interesting enough, when it first came into play, a lot of coaches were saying foul. Then we went through a point where nobody said they wanted to foul. And I asked you the question, Billy, would you foul or would you not foul? And as soon as you said, I would foul, he hits the shot.
Pop. Well, we're stepping up in a magnificent fashion, though, under pressure. Biggest moment in his career.
I am envious officially of Jim Gray's job. He gets to be out there with the winners, and once again, let's check in with Jim.
Darrell, congratulations, 20 points tonight. Can you begin to describe this feeling?
Oh man, it feels great. Mario stepped up for us at the big time shot at the end. And man, he's just playing like Jordan out there. We counted on him for the last time shot and he gave it to us. I thought I cost the game when I missed that offensive rebound on the free throw, but Mario came through in the clutch for us, and we sealed it in the overtime. So I'm happy for it. And it's a dream come true right now.
Did your heart drop when he took the shot, when Chalmers took the shot there?
I knew it was going in. As soon as he left his hands, but I'm just happy. Man, it's just a happy moment for me right now. I'm just excited right now. I'm crying because I'm losing my senior buddies next year, but I'm just happy for the moment right now.
Congratulations. We'll let you go accept the trophy.
All right, thanks a lot.
Kevin, back to you.
Thank you, Jim. What a night for Darrell Arthur, part of the all-tournament team. 20 points, 10 rebounds for Darrell Arthur, and charged tonight with limiting Joey Dorsey, their big man on the Memphis side. And Dorsey ends up with 6 points, only 2 rebounds, and he fouls out of the ball game. I'd say mission accomplished on both ends for Darrell Arthur.
Well, it started early, and the big fellow next to me, inside game, established yourself in the paint, caused some troubles, got some easy baskets. And without Dorsey, he didn't really have, as you mentioned, the shot blocker, maybe the internal inside strength.
Well, and just his presence, I think, has a significant impact on how the other Memphis players are playing. But you got to give a lot of credit to the defense of Kansas throughout most of the game, because they forced Memphis to become somewhat more of a jump shooting team than they were before and penetrating.
And, you think of it, it really helps to have guys who can handle the ball coming down the stretch. They had a lot of rotation. We talked about Collins frequently, but Chalmers and Robinson, and, of course, Russia as well as that small forward/wing, all solid with their dribble and their handle.
Well, and defensively, flipping it to Kansas, that hand quickness was amazing, particularly early in the game, and I think that also made Memphis a little tentative.
The NCAA tournament closes on a fantastic note. Kansas, your national champion, 75-68, beating Memphis in overtime. You're listening to the NCAA Radio Network on Westwood One.
From small updates to big projects, Lowe's has what you need and deals to help you save. Step up your flooring with 10% off Pergo laminate when you also purchase Pergo Gold underlayment. And see your home in a whole new light by shopping the latest decorative lighting styles. Don't want to install it yourself? No problem, because now you can get up to $70 off lighting installation. Whatever's on your to-do list today and every day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 4/8 U.S. only.
There's an app to save on flights, an app to rent a bike, and an app to help you save for driving safely. The Allstate app gives you real-time driving feedback with DriveWise, giving you the power to lower your insurance cost. In fact, safe drivers can save 40% or more. Connect and save with DriveWise. You're in good hands.
Download the Allstate app today. Savings may vary by state and driving behaviors. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Use of Allstate Mobile with activation of DriveWise required. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Right here, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network, your home for great games in tournament history.
Ryan Radke back in our Westwood One studios. Kansas knocks off Memphis 75-68 in overtime. Certainly one of the great national championship games in recent memory. A game that saw both teams trade the lead often throughout the first 32 minutes of action. Memphis a 10-0 run late, seemingly taking control of the game. 8 of those points coming from Derrick Rose. Then Robert Dozier hits a pair of free throws for the Tigers. 2:12 left in regulation. The first national championship seemingly within Memphis' grasp. But as we heard the guys allude to before the break, foul shooting, which was the Achilles heel for John Calipari's team all season long, reared its ugly head down the stretch. His team fouled by Kansas, and the strategy paid off. Memphis missed 4 of their 7 foul shots to end regulation. That left the Jayhawks an opening. The Tigers up 2. Derrick Rose on the line for 2 shots to ice the game. Make them both. The game is likely over.
Rose, first one. Pinball's off, no good. And it's going to be a one-possession game regardless of what he does here.
And so you know now, if you're Kansas, what we're going to run to get a 3 if he makes this one.
Here's Rose one more time. Standing at the line. Fires the second. That one is good. And it's 63-60 Memphis. Kansas ball. 10 seconds. 9. Collins moves it up floor. 6.
Intentional foul.
5. Chalmers. 4-3 and the tie. He got it. He got it. 2.1 to play. Dozier off the inbound. The half-court heave. It is no good. And we're going to overtime. We're going to overtime as Chalmers hits the gigantic 3 to tie it at 63.
It was all Jayhawks in overtime, outscoring the Tigers 12-5. Time to select the Marcus by Goldman Sachs high-yield performance of the game. Not a hard choice here. Mario Chalmers named the most outstanding player of the 2008 Final Four. Besides hitting that clutch shot, he had 18 points and 4 steals in the final, and he was their floor general down the stretch. He was money. He had the high-yield performance of the game, sponsored by Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Marcus by Goldman Sachs helps your money work hard. You can money. Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. Chalmers still asked today about his iconic basket. He believes that magical moment changed his life forever.
Changed my life a lot, actually. Put me in the Raptors at KU. Put me in the history books of, winning an NBA championship, a college championship, and a high school championship. And then it just left a legacy, a Chalmers legacy in the world and in KU.
Now over a decade later, Kansas head coach Bill Self still has fond memories of that night in San Antonio, as he told Westwood One's Brandon Gaudin.
All right, so take us back. You're down 60-51, 2 minutes left. Be honest with me. Did you think that you had much of a shot of winning that game?
I can't really remember. I'm going to say absolutely. There was never a doubt that we could. But I will say this. Coaching in that game and in that moment, you knew the kids were going to play till it said zeros. And even though we were down 9, we had played better than what the score was, because we just couldn't make a shot. And I told our guys in the timeout, all we need is just to get one stop and somebody make a play, and the next thing you know, we're back in. If this is after we cut it to 7, and then Sharon got the steal, made the 3, and it's at 4 with 1:40 left, and you don't even have to foul anymore. Well, I tell them not to, but we foul anyway. And fortunately, they didn't make all their free throws. But it was a fabulous moment for Kansas, and certainly an unbelievable way to end a national championship game.
So Rose goes to the line up 2. He makes 1 of 2. Tell us, what did you have drawn up? Did Mario just make a play? Take us through that last sequence.
We had a play that we ran all the time at game point. It was called chop. It had like 6 or 7 options on it, 2 and 3. And our guys, we practiced it so much, it was second nature to run it. Well, we knew that Memphis would switch, so to heck with that. So we just ran a dribble handoff into a kind of a slip ball screen action. And fortunately for us, Sharon slipped. And when he fell down, instead of being a handoff, it became a short pass. Short passes create indecision where you don't know whether to switch or stay. Handoff is an automatic switch. And there was that much indecision, and it allowed space for Mario to get it off. So, I like to say we drew up something beautiful, but really it was the short pass because Sharon fell down.
When that ball was in the air, was that the longest second of your life to wait to see whether that dropped?
I can't remember. I really can't. I do know this. The guy that shot it was as clutch as anybody that I've ever been around. I mean, he was clutch. And so when Mario made the shot and they missed the Hail Mary and it went into overtime, I remember our guys saying, it's over. It's over. And I'm like going, no, it's not over. We got 5 more minutes to play. What? And they said, no, Coach, it's over. And in all honesty, the momentum had switched jerseys so much. And the first 3 possessions of overtime, we could not have played better. It was perfect. I mean, a coach could not have his team execute better those first 3 possessions in how we scored or how we defended. And so, got up like 6 on them in overtime pretty quick. And then we kind of muddled around and we traded points. And I remember there's 18 seconds left, I think, and Sharon got fouled shooting 2. And we're up 5. And I'm thinking, if he makes these 2, we're going to win. That's the first time I'd actually thought about, hey, we're going to win this thing. And his first one hit everything. It hit every piece of the rim and fell through. And that put us up 6. But, knowing it was a 3-possession game, that made a big difference when he made the second one. So it was a surreal moment. It was a moment that to me, wasn't euphoric. It was more of a proud moment to me than a celebratory moment, because I've got so much respect for history in the game, and to know that you could be in that position, it was just such a proud moment. But we did find time to celebrate later on, though.
It was a 3rd national championship for the Kansas Jayhawks, a first for Bill Self, who was elected to the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 2017. Even in defeat, the 2007-2008 season will go down as one of the greatest in the history of Memphis basketball. After the contest, our Jim Gray was able to speak to their coach, who was still processing the heartbreaking defeats.
With a very disappointed John Calipari. John, it seemed as though just moments away from winning a national championship. How do you describe the feeling?
Oh, I mean, it's devastating, but, I'm disappointed, and my team is they did so much to try to win that game, and I'm, again, as a coach, when you're up 7, even though they had the ball and made it 5, we need to win that game. So I take responsibility, and we did miss some free throws, but that wasn't it. We had plays we could have made and different things we could have done, and we were fouling on the last play. The kid is so fast and quick. Collins, he just got away from Derek, and then when Derek did foul him, maybe he didn't foul him good enough. I mean, he knocked him to the floor, but it wasn't enough for the officials to make that call. So, and then they make an unbelievable shot.
Can you detect the disappointment of Rose and Douglas Roberts in the missed free throws?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. That's, we made enough, and then there were just a couple that didn't go. But I don't think that was the plays. The steal in the corner, we were fouling. If we get the foul, we still win the game. So they don't play as big a part if we do the things down the stretch that we needed to do.
And there's a subtext as well. Derrick Rose had a 3-pointer that was changed to a 2-pointer. Yeah. If you get that point, there's a lot of if and buts in between that. You win by a point. How about that? Just that ruling at that time and the rule itself.
But well, from what I understand, it was a correct call. But now I wish we didn't have monitors to go back to, I guess, and we could have won the game. But my hat's off to Kansas. They played, they defended us better than anybody we've had all year, and they deserved it. And the way they fought back, like I said, I thought we were national champs. I'm like, we are national champs, and all of a sudden, it's like bang, 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 and 30 seconds to go, all of a sudden you're not.
John, we appreciate your time. Most gracious of you to talk at this moment.
Thank you.
Coach Cal would go on to finally win a title in 2012 with the Kentucky Wildcats, but on this night, it was a championship for Rock Chalk Nation. 75-68 winners in overtime against Memphis. We'll wrap things up when we return from the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. This is a special encore presentation of March Madness.
Women now make up 37% of the workforce, changing their role forever.
Harvard Medical School has now opened its doors to new female applicants.
The first woman is now in space.
The majority of last year's doctorate degrees were earned by women.
We've come so far, but our news is changing for the worse. More women die from heart disease and stroke than men, even though it can be prevented. Make a change at GoRedForWomen.org today. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the American Heart Association's Go Red for Women.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
What? Why? Just wait for the inheritance. We've definitely got a rich uncle somewhere. We're one call away from the winner's circle at the Derby, dinners with multiple forks, a vacation home in the country, using summer as a verb.
You don't actually think that, do you?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
The final score, Kansas 75, Memphis 68 in overtime. Today's special rebroadcast of the 2008 National Championship game on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network has been sponsored by Capital One, by NerdWallet.com, by Progressive Insurance, by Skechers, by Lowe's, and by NCAA.com. We'd like to thank our crew who put this broadcast together. Production assistance provided by Matt Waymeyer. Producers Brian Finkelstein, Michael Martino, Tim Parker, and Aaron Cummins. The coordinating producers, Larry Costigan and Mike Eby, and the executive producer is Howard Deneroff. The announcers for the 2008 title game were Kevin Kugler, Bill Raftery, John Thompson, and Jim Gray. Join us again tomorrow for more March Madness Classics. We'll bring you Florida Gulf Coast captivating upset of Georgetown in the first round of the 2013 NCAA tournament, and the 2016 National Championship game, which saw Chris Jenkins hit a game-winning buzzer beater to win the title for Villanova over North Carolina. Our doubleheader coverage begins at noon Eastern on many of these same Westwood One stations via the TuneIn mobile app or online at westwoodonesports.com. Once again, the final score of the 2008 National Championship game, Kansas 75, Memphis 68 in overtime. The Jayhawks storming back from a 9-point deficit late, and they win their third national title. I'm Ryan Radke. Thanks for joining us. You've been listening to great games in NCAA tournament history on the Westwood One NCAA Radio Network.